Good afternoon. We're going to be looking at Humblewood, as I just mentioned, and what that is. Bunch of birds. This thing. They're releasing all of these. They're shipping them out, and I think they said they were like 20% done, so I guess I got one of the first 20% of the books that they were shipping. But we're going to be going through the campaign setting. So what it is, Humblewood is it's a D&D 5e supplement, where they have a bunch of new races, a couple new classes, some class variants, and you can utilize these in your own campaign, or you can just go use the Humblewood setting or transport your characters to the Humblewood setting. Essentially, it functions all in the D&D 5e rule set, so all of it is transferable. It's very cool, and it's very cute, and if you were a backer on their Kickstarter, you got a lot of like digital content, as well as if you did the book tier, you got the book. And then there was like more, there was like minis and stuff. So it was a whole thing, and they're starting to deliver on some of those things, and as well as the music being one of their stretch goals. So I guess let's take a look at, I think I put it on this screen. Yeah, it is. So part of the content that you get for backing the Kickstarter, the first thing is like, okay, you get all the PDF stuff. You get all of that. So like if you take a look at this is all of the things that you get, which is the book. You get some maps and stuff, but all of it is very much so supposed to be printed out on paper. This is the very much pen and paper type setting that they've given everything. Annabelle, hello. Prof, hello. Stella, hello. Owl Baby is ready for his first adventure. Yes, he actually has a name, which is very cute, but he has a name, which is fun. I think his name is Riffin. He's an owl knight. Riffin the Owl Knight. So, and this guy is Oddwald. He's a necromancer, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, we'll get down through all of that. But yeah, so they provide all of these things, and here I'll pull up some of them because they're interesting. Because there is an adventure in the game that they give you. So if you don't want spoilers for that adventure, we won't go through the specific adventure on this review. There is just an adventure involved. I went through it yesterday. It has all of the NPCs and stuff and the stat blocks that they use, as well as like a full adventure that takes your party through levels 1 through 5. It's nice and it's cute, and it has art like this that they provide. So they tell you how, like, oh, you print these out and you put your little paper map together. So for us in a digital setting, that doesn't necessarily help us so much to put these things together. But it is available if you did back this on Kickstarter. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, Rel, what's up? Yeah, clean shaven. Been like this for a couple weeks now. So let's go through Humblewood, right? So all of this, it's by the Deck of Many. The Deck of Many is the publishing group. And they're cool people. I've actually been talking to them, and if they have a Discord and stuff like that, if you want to take part in those things. So, they also have great art throughout this whole thing. Obviously, this is in the book, so it's supposed to be like a 2-page piece, right? Right, kind of like that. Actually. So the book is very nice, obviously. There it is. Yeah, so it does do the whole 2-page thing. Very cool. It's very nice. So anyways, obviously credits up front, all their contributors, 14,604 Kickstarter backers, and I'm one of those. So we basically have the intro here, and then Traversing the Wood, How Adventure, and then there's Chapter 4, essentially is all of this adventuring in the woods. The appendixes down here go through your bestiaries, the NPCs, new magic items, which are very cool, some random encounter tables, and random treasure tables as well. There's some new religion stuff in here. And that being said, there's a lot of cleric options based on these religion things. So that's cool. But first, when's Aspects, Rel? Aspects is on a undetermined hiatus. It's been a long time, and I'm not sure I'm bringing it back, to be honest. Okay. So the foreword here. Twitch streams or stages. Okay, so this is a bunch of just hey, hi, cool art. Here's Holly Conrad. There you go. I don't know if you guys know who Holly is, but she has like a pigeon rescue, which is very cool. She's pretty prominent in the online tabletop universe, and her stuff there. So there's your art director, Alicia Hannigan, which is great because they made little people like this. It's awesome. In the faraway world of Everden, on the eastern coast of a great continent, lies a vast forest nestled between the mountains and sea. This is the Humblewood, an ancient magical place that hums an endless song, sung to the great rhythm of life and death. Wood, as it is known to its inhabitants, is not like any other forest. The trees are old and powerful, with rare specimens that reach as tall as small mountains. Here, familiar beasts grow to unusual sizes, bearing markings and patterns unique to the wood. The region is also home to two groups of animal-like humanoid races, the Birdfolk and the Humblefolk. Together, they share the wood and its bountiful resources. In the early years, the Birdfolk and Humblefolk lived close to each other in small villages around the forest. These isolated communities were vulnerable to an organization of brigands and marauders who called themselves the Bandit Coalition. To protect themselves from the Coalition, the Birdfolk built fortified cities in the forest canopy. Joining forces with the Humblefolk, the Birdfolk army, known as the Perch Guard, drove back the bandits, bringing peace and security to the region. Over time, Birdfolk culture spread, and the capital city of Alderheart became the most politically influential place in the wood. But the wood is also known sorrow. Not long after the founding of Alderheart, a massive forest fire known as the Great Calamity burned a portion of the wood. The origins of the fire are unknown, but it left an area permanently damaged. This day it is called the Scorched Grove. Makes sense. An arid field of ash that has since become home to many strange flame-infused creatures. And they have those in the bestiary as well, and they're kind of cool. The Tenders, an organization of druids and mystics, dedicated themselves to healing the Scorched Grove with natural magics. Setting up in conclaves around the wood, they provide aid whenever the forest fires strike. Yet since the grove's burning, the wood has known relatively few fires. Nature's balance, though, can be disrupted by a single spark. Recently, fires have begun to rage through the wood with a strength and fury not seen since ages past. Forest dwellers are again being displaced from their homes, seeking refuge in Alderheart, and perch dwellers are doing what they can to keep themselves safe up in the canopy sanctuaries. Relations between the Humblefolk and Birdfolk are tense. Moreover, a newly invigorated bandit coalition swells in numbers. Its sights are set on Alderheart, where those displaced by the flames seek a means of survival. You are the citizen of the wood, caught up in the turmoil. Or perhaps you're a storyteller from another world. Either way, the future of the wood is yours to write. Within this book, you'll find all the tools you'll need to build your character, travel the land, and create your own Humblewood story. Whether or not Humblewood is able to survive the flames is up to you. Go forth, adventure. Only you can restore balance to the wood. Isn't he cute? Look at this cute little owl. Oh my god. Isn't that great? Yeah, but I want to play D&D again at some point. That's great. Well, Rel, I hope you find a D&D game to play in, man. I can't always be the outlet. Let me put it that way. Welcome to the wood. Races of the wood. The various folk that make up the world of Humblewood are divided into two categories, Birdfolk and Humblefolk. Birdfolk obviously being flying creatures. Humblefolk are kind of just like your various mammal creatures. While they resemble animals, the folk who inhabit the cities, towns, and villages of Humblewood are all humanoid. So they all have, like, fingers. Chapter outlines 10 core races, 5 Birdfolk, 5 Humblefolk, who make up the majority of characters found in the wood. It also details various character creation options, new class options, backgrounds, feats, and spells to make your own Humblewood adventurer. The Birdfolk. Birdfolk races of Humblewood are as diverse and unique as the forest itself. Only the skillful survive the forest, and the Birdfolk have become masters of both forest floor and the canopies above, creating several settlements, known colloquially as perches, throughout the wood. Despite regional differences and the cultural peculiarities among the different kinds of Birdfolk in the wood, Birdfolk races are nevertheless share much of their cultural, language, history, and origin myths. This solidarity has allowed them to work together and prosper, creating harmony in the wood which has lasted for an age. Here are some of those things. The Luma, I think they're like little doves or pigeons. The Corvum are your big old raven boys. The Raptors, looks like they're just the predatory like falcon. Gallus, I think they're more like the pheasant, right? They're like your pheasant type, and Strigs are all of your owls. Is what I can see. He keeps saying it wrong. True, I should say Birdfolk. You are entirely correct. While a diverse group adapted for a variety of environments within the wood, Birdfolk also share several physical traits that have allowed them to find common ground in the construction of their perches. Beyond the obvious physical similarities, all Birdfolk possess arms covered in feathers, which extend into wing-like appendages. While incapable of true powered flight, this is something to keep in mind. You can't just fly through things. The strong, hollow bones and lightweight bodies of Birdfolk allow them to easily use their feathered arms to glide. Unless severely encumbered, all Birdfolk can recover gracefully from what would otherwise be a deadly fall. In some Birdfolk races, these wings have grown strong enough to bear their owners upwards in a mighty flap, while others instead develop talons. They're both deadly defensive weapons and useful tools for scaling tall trees. Birdfolk have established themselves a political force to be reckoned with in the Humblewood. They shaped their mighty capital from the great tree Alderheart. That's a lot of reading. Their bastion of, and from this bastion of safety, their ruling body, the Birdfolk Council, makes decisions which impact all of Humblewood. Birdfolk are well defended from outside threats thanks to the Perch Guard, a force of soldiers trained in both aerial and ground combat, keeps their cities and denizens within safe. While Alderheart has been a beacon of peace and harmony for many years, the coming fires have thrown this region into chaos. Perch Guard forces are spread thin across the canopy cities, barely able to secure main roads for merchants while keeping their homes safe from the blazes. Now the great Birdfolk cities face more threats from bandits and forest fires than ever before. Through it all, though, the Birdfolk trust in solidarity between themselves and the diverse group of habitants who call their perches home to weather the coming storm, as they have so many times before. The Humblefolk! Take a look at the Humblefolk. You got your foxes, the Vulpin, the Mapok, which are all your raccoons, Durbine, which are like your little mouse-ish types, the Hedge, obviously, hedgehogs, and the Servant, which are all of your deer-like creatures. These are the 5 from each of these that they've detailed out here as races. Now, it is my understanding that you can take any one of these, and let's say you had a particular type of small woodland creature that you would like to play, you could probably figure out a way to make this work, right? You put like your Vulpin stats on a badger or something like that, right? So each of these different types of things you could probably make to work somewhere else. These are just the ones that they've detailed out specifically here. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to use the stat blocks for other things, or if you had other options that you wanted to take there. So, not all denizens of the Humblewood are Birdfolk. The term Humblefolk is used throughout the wood to refer to the non-Birdfolk people who live a little closer to the forest floor. Unlike Birdfolk, whose shared languages, histories, myths, and culture have allowed them to exist in harmony for most of Humblewood's history, Humblefolk represent a disparate group of peoples, cultures, and ways of seeing the world, many of whom haven't always seen eye to eye. Ages ago, an accord was struck between the people of the forest floor to unite against roving bandits and quell the infighting that was wreaking havoc across the wood. This accord was known as the Humblefolk Treaty and was witnessed by the Birdfolk, who were just then beginning to shape the trunk of Alderheart. The Birdfolk offered the Humblefolk safety within the great city, and many accepted their offer. Over time, more and more Humblefolk migrated to the newly established Birdfolk perches, though many found the Birdfolk architecture to be restrictive for creatures without wings. In the same way, some groups of Birdfolk, feeling too crowded within the booming perches, began to spread out and seek shelter within small woodland villages. Even today, the Birdfolk who choose to live on the forest floor find themselves stigmatized, as a life in the canopy is considered proper in Birdfolk society. Hey Q, what's up, man? Gerbine stats on a squirrel would probably work. Yeah, probably. But you, depending on what type of like climbing stats they have, you might want to add like a climbing stat for a type of squirrel. But yeah, generally, I feel like there's no reason you wouldn't be able to have that, right? And then you're really playing Redwall. You get your mouses and your squirrels and do your chipmunks and stuff. After the establishment of the treaty, Humblefolk began to live once again in small woodland villages beneath the trees. Although now in more diverse communities alongside some ground-dwelling birdfolk, with the expansion of the Humblefolk Treaty to allow Humblefolk to call upon Perch Guard garrisons in times of crisis, and Birdfolk militias keeping the roads safe for merchant caravans, the wood truly entered a golden age. Life for many Humblefolk was peaceful and prosperous until the fires came. Flying squirrels with glide. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I don't see, like, you already have birds with gliding, so why not have a Humblefolk that can also glide? Everything's kind of built around having that built in anyways, right? With the spreading flames, Humblefolk villagers petitioned the overextended perch guard for aid, only to see help arrive too late, if at all. To make matters worse, after many years, the divisions between Humblefolk communities have intensified. Those who found prosperity in the Birdfolk cities have adopted a perch dweller's perspective, while those who live in the woodlands face a constant threat from brigands and forest fires. Others have even left to join the newly reformed bandit coalition, seeing not only a path for survival, but a chance to get even with the perch-dwelling birdfolk for broken oaths of unequal treatment. Yet, where the treaty holds, vibrant Humblefolk communities can still be found. Humblefolk are resilient, and each race will devise a way to survive in this dangerous wood. You want to play this so bad? Hey, man. Go. I don't know if they're still doing the backer stuff, so you can get your book, but eventually it'll be available for sale, as far as I know. All right, so now we're getting detailed out in the races here. So, the core of them, you got your raven folkish type people. Corvins are a crow-like race with dark feathers and sharp minds. Their reputation in birdfolk society is nothing short of villainous, and they're regularly cast as the antagonist at any given situation. It's hard to say whether the Corvins are distrusted because they behave the way they do, or if they behave the way they do because they are distrusted. Yeah, makes sense. You think you backed it for the book? You know you get the PDF at least? Yeah. Good. Then yeah, make a game. For personal gain, it is widely believed that Corvins only look out for themselves. Sometimes this presents as flexible morals, and at other times it simply means they follow a personal code instead of subscribing to general law. Either way, Corvins are a crafty race, and they tend to get what they want one way or another. Typically found in positions with a modicum of power, such as advisors or minor officials. Stigma they face usually prevents them from attaining too prominent a position in birdfolk society, but Corvins are adept at working behind the scenes, spreading their influence subtly and to great effect. Too smart! Corvins are commonly accepted, sometimes begrudgingly, to be among the smartest of birdfolk. Keen observers, they trade in information the way others trade goods. They are hungry for knowledge and leverage it to further their goals whenever possible. Their undeniable skill in matters of logistics and planning make them valuable to councils and powerful individuals alike. Corvum traits. Ability score increase. Your intelligence score is +2. Yeah, smart burbs. Corvums reach adulthood at 18 years. Slightly shorter lives than other birdfolk at approximately 70. Shrewd and capable, Corvum prefer moral flexibility and are likely to be neutral rather than either good or evil. Nonetheless, Corvums see a benefit to the rules, even if they attempt to turn them into their own advantage. Because of this, they favor lawful. Makes sense. They're big birds, 4.5 and 5 feet tall, encompassing a variety of different builds. They weigh around 100 pounds. You're a medium creature. Base walking speed, 30 feet. You can glide. Using your feather arms, you can slow your fall and glide short distances. While falling, you can use your reaction speed reaction to spread your arms, stiffen your wing feathers, and slow your descent. While doing so, you continue to fall gently at a speed of 60 feet per round, taking no fall damage when you land. If you would fall at least 10 feet in this way, you may fly up to your movement speed in one direction you choose. Although you cannot choose to move upwards, landing in the space you finish your movement. You cannot glide while carrying heavy weapons or wielding a shield, though you may drop any held items as part of your reaction to spread your arms. You cannot glide while wearing heavy armor or if you're encumbered. You fall 60 feet per round. If you fall at least 10 feet, you can fly your movement speed in one direction. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Cool. Your sharp claws aid you in unarmed combat and while climbing. Damage for an unarmed strikes is 1d4, piercing. Additionally, you have an advantage on strength/athletic checks. To climb any surface your talons could reasonably grip. I'm glad they say reasonably, because, like, you can't just, like, a sheer wall, talons aren't going to help you. Reasonable is, I love reasonable. It gives the DM so much, like, open-endedness. Learned. You gain proficiency in one of the following skills: Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. Appraising Eye. You have almost supernatural ability to appraise objects. By spending an action examining any object, you can determine any magical properties the item has. What? how they might be used or activated, as well as a fair estimation of market price. Using this skill strains the eyes, and you must complete a long or short rest before you can use it again. Holy crap. You get a 6-second identify spell. And you just get that. You just have it. You just have that. That's crazy. Hey, Yagi, what's up? It's not flight, it's short gliding. Yes. Well, you can't abuse it. Also, you're big. This is a 5-foot-tall bird. This is a 5-foot-tall bird, right? Like, it's hard to fly at 100 pounds. That's tough, man. Especially when, like, you got, like, hands and not, like, true wings. So, makes sense. You can speak, read, and write Birdfolk. Understand Aran, though you cannot speak it naturally. There are 2 main subraces, Dusk and Kindled. Dusk's Corvum. You're more at home in the bustle of society in the wilds of the forest. You understand subtle social cues the way a hunter understands their prey, just as quick to capitalize on the advantage. Your dex gets a +1. Skulker, you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks made in dim light or darkness. Street smarts, proficiency, and insight skill. This is a very, like, rogue-esque. Obviously, they're putting an assassin literally right here. But that's kind of cool. Advantage on stealth checks. That's insane. As a Kindled Corvum, you implicitly know that you're the smartest in the room. Your ability to utilize your knowledge to your advantage, along with a deep understanding of others' motivations, make you a formidable opponent. Charisma score increases by 1. Kindled Corvums have a way with words, or accomplish at saying what someone wants or needs to hear. You have proficiency in either the deception or persuasion. You also have advantage on charisma checks made to convince someone of your exceptional knowledge on any topic related to the skill you've selected to learn this trait. Arcana, history, nature, or religion. So you're smart and silver-tongued. Interesting. You learn 1 additional language of your choice, gain proficiency in a tool of your choice, and are able to accurately recall with perfect clarity anything you've seen or heard in the past month. Balance was not their first thought in this, huh? Yeah, the art's fantastic. Gallus. It's a rooster. The Gallus are commonly dwell in small familial communities as opposed to grand perches of the wood. One of the bird folk, they're most likely to be found living among the humble folk. Of the bird folk. Gallus have a deep respect for nature and a love for gardening unmatched by any other. They value their social bonds above all else and are always ready to help their neighbors promote a common good. Polite, have little patience for deceit and rudeness. They're a varied folk, resembling as many different varieties of wildfowl as there are trees in the wood. Here you go. Some are pheasant-like, some are grouse-like, some resemble chicken or turkeys. There are dozens of variations of feathers, colors, and patterns, even between the Gallus of the same subrace. They're proud of their appearance, but not to the point of vanity. Maintaining good grooming is akin to keeping a knife sharp, and this shows a level of respect for oneself. Here you go. Nice. Birdfolk are generally welcoming of other races, but the Gallus are particularly well known for their willingness to include virtually anyone in social or familial groups. Gallus culture is customary to always offer your seat at a table to guests. It is a basis of popular and hilarious children's story about a meal growing too cold to eat as the Gallus continually give up their seats to late arrivals at a party. I love it. I love it. Gallus are social and communal folk. They tend to form close-knit communities wherever they roost, and their sense of pride and community runs deep. When tragedy leaves children in their village orphaned, it's customary for Gallus families to take them in. They value honest work, such as farming and smithing, share labor equally between all community members. There's nothing a Gallus would not give to their neighbors in a time of need. While their birdfolk might look down on Gallus for their common ways, the Gallus have excellent interpersonal skills. They're insightful, empathetic, but not to the point of being socially exploitable. They have an ear for truth and are often capable of rooting out lies and dishonesty. The turkey meme returns. True. True. Your wisdom is +2. Wow. So very perceptive. While age fluctuates, Gallus are mature at 18, and they live 70 to 100 years. Mostly lawful good, salt of the earth sort of folk who believe in justice, the value of hard work, and importance of respecting others. They're most varied of the birdfolk races, ranging from 4 feet to just over 5 feet. Under 4 feet to 5 feet. Showing many unique builds, the variety of shapes and sizes mean it also encompasses a variety of weights, but most average 90 pounds, size medium, base speed 30, glide is the same. Wing flap. Oh, this is one of the ones that you can go upwards. As a bonus action, use your powerful feathered arms to propel yourself upwards at a distance equal to half your movement speed, so 15 up. You can use it in conjunction with a regular jump, but not while gliding. So you just jump really high. Communal. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the history of your race, culture, or community, consider proficient. And add double your proficiency bonus to the check instead of the normal. So you're an expert. Militia training. You have proficiency in simple weapons. Gain proficiency with the artisan tool of your choice. Brewers, carpenters, or smiths. Read and ride Birdfolk. Also understand Aran. 2 main subraces. Look at the chicken! He's a rooster. Look at him. Look at a handsome lad. 2 main subraces. Bright Gallus. Bright Gallus, you're a natural leader. Growing up in your close-knit community has taught you how to inspire others and rally folks to a common cause. The air of command follows you wherever you roam. A rooster druid. That's what it looks like. By spending an action ability score increases charisma by 1. By spending an action giving words of advice or encouragement, you can inspire an ally who's able to see and hear you. D4, add a number rolled to the next ability check, attack roll, or saving throws. They have a natural inspiration. You have proficiency and insight. Hood and Gallus are of the land. Like an amaranthine... Like the amaranthine Hanera. I don't even know what that means. You have a unique connection to the great rhythm of nature. In return, the rhythm grants you many gifts. Druid thing. Innate bond with nature may alienate you from city life, but will always have a home in the more remote parts of the wood. Dex +1. Proficiency in nature. Your connection to the great rhythm is such that you can speak with the greenery of the forest itself. Hey, Masby, what's up? Through speech and touch, you can communicate simple ideas to living plants. You're able to interpret their responses in simple language. You can just talk to plants. Plants in the wood do not experience the world in terms of sight, but can feel differences in temperature, describe things that have touched them, as well as hear vibrations that happen to them, including speech. You can talk to plants. Look at that. That's like right off the beast table, right? Certain CR. What, the rooster druid? I don't know. I don't believe so. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Prof. Lumas. Look at this dove. / pigeon. Race of polar opposites when it comes to the role in perch society. Often shunned for their eccentricities and are celebrated for them. Lumas are smaller than most birdfolk, resemble either doves or pigeons. Many have ruffs of feathers that shine with unique iridescent colors, something which can be seen as either alluring or unusual. Most fledgling Lumas approach social situations with hesitation until a time when society inevitably labels them as an outcast or notable. An individual naturally adapts to the role. Oh, no wild shape. Well, wild shape is technically a druid skill. This is a race subclass, like a sub-race. So it doesn't have, this is not going to detail out what a druid does. This is just a race thing, which does not have wild shape involved. Most Lumas seem perpetually disorganized and distracted, which has led to a belief that they are of low intelligence. In truth, Lumas have unique perception on the world, able to interpret information in an uncommon way, allowing them to see possibilities others cannot. These inherent talents, sometimes dismissed as luck, can be improved upon with training and study. Pairing their natural gifts with magical education, powerful Luma wizards and radical scholars have been in the forefront of magical innovation for some time. Humblewood. What happened to the bear? I don't know. I don't have a bear. What are you talking about? The beard thing. Right, I was wondering how wild shape works again if it were to become a druid. I bet you there's some detailing out how that works. Yeah, Masby, when we did the 24-hour stream, we raised $3,300 for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. At the $2,000 mark, the chat was able to select what my beard was shaved into. We did a Klingon type beard, and I had to shave it before work. So now I've been clean shaven for a couple weeks. Of two worlds, while most Lumas find their peculiar nature to be a hindrance to society, some make use of their gifts to climb the social ladder. These individuals inspire curiosity and have an air of authority about them. The divide in social standing among Lumas can make for curious and strained relationships among family and friends. Other Lumas find it difficult to exist in larger society of birdfolk cities. It's said that their main contributing factor for the close-knit, exclusive Luma districts in larger cities. Lumas tend to keep to themselves, preferring the company of those who understand them than those who pass judgment. Okay. Charisma score increases by 2. Short-lived. Adult by 20. Few Lumas live 70. Wow. Lumas lean towards chaotic alignments, while generally good natures. Those who have been spurned by society find it hard to see benefits in altruism. But even under such circumstances, Lumas are rarely evil. Lumas are the shortest and lightest, 3 feet tall, weighing only around 30 pounds. You're small. You're itty bitty. You're a little dude. Base walking speed is 25 feet. Yep, you're small. You have glide. Perfect. You have wing flap. Great. Which means you can only jump 10 feet upwards because it's half your movement speed and you always round. Well, you always round down. So 12 down to 10. Touched. You know 1 cantrip from Sorcerer. Charisma is your spellcasting ability. Fated. Whether by luck or guiding presence, you always seem to find your way. You can choose to re-roll any attack, skill check, or saving throw. You have luck. Holy crap. You can decide to do this after your roll, but only before the outcome of the roll has been determined. You can't use this feature again until you have completed a long rest. You have luck. Holy crap. Oof. Oof. You can speak, read, write, Birdfolk, yep, and Arin. There are 2 main subraces. The Sable Luma, often found on the fringes of social situations. While you are overlooked by the crowd, your gifts are undeniable. You are destined for greatness. Constitution score by 1. Hard to read. Innate eccentricities make it hard for other folk to figure you out. While someone performs a wisdom insight check on you, they have disadvantage. You gain advantage on charisma deception checks against creatures that are not Lumas. Huh. Advantage on saving throws against poison, resistance against poison damage. That's interesting. I don't know why that's there, but that's interesting. It's like, I guess, just another bonus. Sarah Luma. As a Sarah Luma, you're revered and celebrated by those around you. You have almost unnatural beauty and grace, inspiring admiration in some and jealousy in others. Wisdom score is increased by 1. You have a proficiency in performance. Songbird. When you perform, you can demonstrate the innate mystical power of your charisma. You may cast Charms Person spell once per long rest. Spell does not require any somatic components. Charisma is your spellcasting ability. Here's your bards right here. There it is. The Raptors. Yeah. These are my boys. Dude, I love like Falcons and Hawks, man. They're so cool. Every once in a while we have like a red-tailed hawk that's around the area. It's super duper neat. When the Birdfolk think of hunters or rangers, they picture a raptor. Resembling small hawks, eagles, and other birds of prey, they have sharp talons and agile builds that help them effortlessly glide through the canopy. These birdfolk are swift and strong with an uncanny knack for tracking, rarely prey, quick to turn the tables when finding themselves hunted. Perceptive awareness. Given the heightened senses, often raptors appear to be distracted or deep in thought. In reality, they're processing a wealth of sensory information they receive from their particularly keen eyes and sensitive ears. Around them, raptors have an extreme wide field of awareness. Raptors are adept at living off the land, skilled hunters, usually leading the harvesting of meats and skins for their purchase. Raptors are especially well versed in stalking prey from great heights, lining up impossible shots that their prey could not predict. American kestrels are your favorite? Ooh, I like kestrels. Natural predator. While many birdfolk races are culturally communal, raptors don't have a great sense of connectedness, nor do they tend to create their own perches. More likely to adopt a transient lifestyle, moving from perch to perch, or to simply live in the vast forest of the wood itself. Although typically quiet, raptors are not averse to forming relationships with other birdfolk. Despite their reserved nature, raptors value personal bonds more highly than societal, even familial ties. Your dex is +2. You live to be about 100 and mature at 20. Tend to be neutral, preferring a path of naturalists and hunters. Raptors rarely see any value in order for sake of order, often more pragmatic than idealistic. Lean, muscular hunters, but they stand less than 4 feet tall. Nice. You are small. They lend themselves, their bodies weigh far less than one would expect for their height. You're about 35 pounds. You have glide. You have talons. You have keen senses, so automatic proficiency in perception. Neat. Your accuracy allows you to treat 3/4 cover as half cover as no cover. You are very good with a bow, essentially. Wowee. Yeah, they're little humanoids. So they have hands and stuff. You have a proficiency with longbow, shortbow, and spear. Additionally, your familiarity with the longbow means it's not considered a heavy weapon. Dope. Pretty easily ranger fighters here, right? You can speak, read, and write Birdfolk and Aran, 2 main subraces. The Marin Raptor. You're as at home in the water as you are in the trees. You also have a wealth of patience, acting only when it best suits your goals. Intelligence +1. You have a swim speed. When you react with a readied action, patience. When you react with a readied action, you have advantage on the first attack roll, skill check, or ability check you make as part of the action. Oh, interesting. Mistral Raptor. Mistral Raptor. As a Mistral Raptor, you're most at home far from the ground, range for miles in the wood without ever setting talon to the soil, moving more confidently through the branches as some move on flat ground. Wisdom and score increases by 1. Proficiency in acrobatics. Aerial defense. Creatures that attack you while you are falling, gliding, or jumping have disadvantage. Wow, what even is cover? Asked the hawk. True. Strigs. Owls, dude. Look at these owl boys. Thick boy. Strigs are the most imposing of birdfolk races. Resembling owls, their thick feathers, solid bodies, and broad wings have earned them a reputation as the most powerful of birdfolk races. They value strength and endurance, traits they believe crucial for survival in the wood. Although they are not necessarily prejudiced against those who are weaker, Strigs are quick to call out when someone is not doing their best for the common good. The Owlbarian, true. Strong and brave. While many birdfolk rely on their prowess or intelligence for superiority, Strigs use their immense strength and stamina to endure even the most punishing assault. They make mighty warriors. Whether defending the perch or braving the wood itself, Strigs never shy away from a fight. Strig culture is largely based on principles of strength and endurance above all, but not necessarily for the purposes of combat. Protecting and providing for others in hard times is considered just as impressive, if not more so, than winning a fight. Woodland survivors. Strigs, more than any other birdfolk race, are most at home in the wild. Their mottled feather patterns, although not as bright and beautiful as others, allow them to easily hide in the forest. Due to the inherent advantage, along with their speed and power, Strigs make excellent hunters and rangers. Strigs prefer the relative simplicity of the forest to machinations of society and politics. Despite these individualistic tendencies, my mouth is starting to go blah, blah, blah. Didn't know I needed an owl with an axe in my life so bad. True. Yeah. Yes. They are capable of forming familial and community bonds that transcend a permanent or single physical home. Your strength score increases by 2. Ooh, strong boys. Reach maturity faster than most birdfolk, 15 years, living about 80 years. Normally good aligned, having a strong sense of fair play, as well as a tendency to see the best in others. Favor chaotic alignments, as Strigs are freedom-loving people, as well who will usually put their personal morals above any imposed system of governance. My mouth is starting to blah, 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 blah. They range from 4 feet to 5 feet, weighing around 110 pounds. Your size is medium. You have 30-foot walk speed. You have a glide. You have talons, and you have dark vision. There it is. I was wondering when one of these birds was going to have dark vision. Dark vision functions the exact same way as normal. You have advantage on dexterity stealth checks when you attempt to hide. Ooh. And then you have Birdfolk and Aran. 2 subraces. Look at this guy. Whoa, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Wow. The Stout Strig. You're as hardy as you are strong. Are you a dwarf? Con +1. Proficiency in intimidation. Brawler. When you successfully attack a target with your talents, you can choose to grapple them. Swift Strig. Powerful force in the wood who ranges far and wide. You're most capable when immersed in the forest. Dex +1. Base is 35. Proficiency in survival. Yeah, Lynx coat. This is a beast in the bestiary we'll get to. Looks like a cat in a cat suit. True. Servants. Oh, okay. So we're now at the Humblefolk. So these are our deer folk friends. Servants are versatile deer-like folk who make their homes in small, intimate villages throughout Humblewood. More insular than other Humblefolk, servants often reside deep in the most ancient parts of the Humblewood vast forest, in tree stands and groves far from birdfolk perches. Yeah, Bambi. Hale and hardy. Servants have a robust physique and are rarely sick. They are one of the longest-lived races in the Humblefolk. Though their wariness has earned them a reputation as timid, servants are cautious because they remain active and alert, generally prefer practice to contemplation. Servants like to pursue skills independently in order to give themselves a sense of purpose. This striving is what propels some servants to positions of great import through the wood. Happy servant is one who's hard at work. Wary and practical. One of the reasons servants form such close-knit communities is a mistrust of outsiders. Before the treaty, Vulpin raiders and Mapok thieves were serious threats. These times have long since passed, but servants still possess a wariness that makes it hard for other folk to gain their trust. After the implementation of the Humblefolk Treaty, many servants continue to live the old ways. However, some servant villages have since started to contain an odd family of Gerbine, or a few lone hedges. Even under such circumstances, servants have maintained positions of leadership and delegated responsibilities to make sure that villages are run in accordance with the old servant teachings, ensuring that work necessary for survival in the most remote villages is accomplished so that all inhabitants may be kept healthy, happy. The ability to balance their innate caution with practical considerations is one of service's greatest strengths. There's a lot of S sounds in that one. Servants teach the best means of survival in any situation is to remain calm and weigh one's options. The best servant leaders favor this approach. Cool. The sight. They have a unique ability to bounce back and survive in a physical shock that might kill others. Hello. Hello. I forgot Twitch alerts is behind this thing, but thank you very much. Thank you for gifting a sub to Masby, Stella. That was so sweet of you. Aw. Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Stella. Occasionally, servants who survive such traumas are granted mystical visions. Sometimes these are flashes of insight into the world around them, sometimes portents of doom, and other times visions of faraway future. Known among servants as the sight, this phenomenon is elusive and out of the control of mortals. Servants who have seen visions in this way are known as the sighted, and after initial events, some will suddenly find themselves receptive to visions of the past, present, and future. Whoa, 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 whoa. You feel bad you can't afford... Whoa, Masby, don't feel bad. Someone thought it was nice, and you were nice enough to be gifted a sub. Just say thank you. Just say thank you, and enjoy the emotes, you know? No one ever has the obligation to sub, and if someone is being kind enough to gift you one, just say thank you. A servant whose sight has been triggered is encouraged to hone it so that they may take a role of seer within their village. However, these efforts aren't always met with success. The sight will sometimes visit a servant only once in their lifetime, with no amount of training granting a glimpse of such visions again. This is believed to be for the best, as servants acknowledge those who are truly sighted to carry a knowledge that can be both a blessing and a curse. True. I mean, you can see, like, the future and stuff and the past and stuff. That'd be really tough. Blessings of Kareth. While it's not unusual for some servants to have small antlers or buds visible on their heads, one is only rarely is a servant born who can grow a full set of antlers. Huh. The servants are a different subrace, pronghorns. Oh, these servants are a different race, pronghorns. Thought to be specifically blessed by the Amaranthine Kareth as a sacred spirit of life and growth believed to watch over all servants. Unlike other subraces, pronghorn and grove servants are the same people. The arrival of a pronghorn servant is an event to celebrate. It only occurs once in a generation. Con score increases by 2. Servants reach maturity at 12. Wow, and they live up to 150. Pronghorns generally live longer than grove servants, considered a sign of Kareth's favor. Servants are pragmatic in their thinking, generally prefer to keep their philosophies flexible in order to prioritize what they believe is important for both themselves and their communities. They can be 5 to 6 feet tall, light builds, so 130 to 180. Pronghorn servants are taller and toward heavier muscular builds, standing around 7 feet tall, weighing over 200 pounds. Big lads. Hey, you buy? Hang on. You too. A puppy? What? Why, what about a puppy? That was Megan. Cookie? Oh, Cookie's not here. No. Cookie's her parents' dog. Sorry. So Cookie's at her parents' house. Cookie was just over here during the hurricane. Servants are generally pragmatic, generally prefer to keep their philosophies flexible in order to prioritize what they believe is important for both communities and themselves and their communities. They lean towards neutral. Sure. Okay, Base speed is 30. Eminently practical and like to spend their time learning useful skills. You gain proficiency in athletics, medicine, nature, or survival. All servants possess a great tenacity and will to survive, allows them to bounce back from even the most devastating blows. If an attack deals over half your current remaining hit points and damage, even if your hit points are reduced to 0, immediately regain hit points 1d12 plus con. Can't use it again until you completed a long rest. It's like a better version of the orc thing that I can't remember the name of. You can read, and write Birdfolk and Servant. Servant has no written component. 2 subraces. The Grove Servant. You're swift and agile, able to quickly maneuver out of harm's way. You're incredibly versatile and fill a variety of roles within a village or adventuring party. Dex +1. Base walking speed 35. You can jump 30 feet, and your base high jump is 15 without a running start. Opportunity attacks made against you are rolled with disadvantage. Wow, that's huge. That's actually massive. Pronghorn Servants. Born larger and stronger than the other community and found yourself laden with expectations from a very young age. It's up to you whether you embrace the position of privilege or rebel against the constraints thrust upon you by servant society. Strength +1. Carrying capacity is doubled. As well as the weight you can push, drag, or lift. You have a set of large, strong antlers that we use to make devastating charge attacks. Use your unarmed strike to gore opponents, dealing 1d6 plus strength modifier. Additionally, you move at least 20 feet in a straight line. You can spend a bonus action to charge them, dealing an extra 1d6 points of piercing damage. The target of your charge is large or smaller. They must make a strength saving throw. Proficiency bonus is 8. +8, plus your strength. On failure, target is pushed 10 feet away. Ooh. Hey, Annis, how are you? Hedgehogs! Look at the little bardic hedge. Look at him. Look at the hedgehog. Oh, he's so cute. Look at him. Look at him playing that mandolin. Love it. Love it. This is like a mandolin, but like with a cover. I think I've seen these things before. I don't know how that's actually played, though. Hedge. The most diplomatic and good-natured of all the humble folk, hedges like to live quiet lives in villages throughout the wood, within the safety of birdfolk perches. They resemble hedgehogs, although the quills that cover their backs are far tougher, hard enough to repel blades, and sharp enough to pierce the solid hides of monstrous creatures. Whoa! Despite their sturdiness, hedges are sensitive and emotional creatures who display meekness more than bravado. Meek demeanor and deference in social situations earn their reputation as cowards. Rather than being born of cowardice, their behavior stems from a desire to respect the feelings and sensitivities of others, sometimes considered to be of utmost importance in hedge society. Hedges have incredible capacity for empathy, and to view all creatures, from the smallest beetle to the largest beast, as being equally deserving of respect and dignity. Known across the wood for being excellent conflict mediators, usually find themselves acting as diplomats or emissaries between factions trying to broker an agreement. Hedges feel most at home when everyone gets along. They're one of the few races who truly understand that conflict is not an evil force, but simply represents an imbalance which must be resolved. Not to say that hedges have never known strife, only that their proactive approach to mediation, coupled with their deep respect for the dignity of all living creatures, results in fewer occasions for conflict. Yet when the serious conflict does arrive, hedges who feel that they've been truly and deeply wrong can close themselves off from the rest of the society, sometimes resulting in splits in a community. One of the reasons hedges display such deep empathy and compassion towards others due to the intensity of the emotions they feel. The strength of these emotions applies as much to positive feelings as negative, meaning emotional wounds run deep with hedges. You need a Geralt wolf. I suppose you could probably use the Vulpin thing for the foxes as a wolf one, but they'd probably just be bigger. Or you could just characterize a Vulpin as like a wolf creature. I don't see why there would be a problem with that, right? Gifted with a unique connection to the great rhythm, hedges are tied with the natural world in a fashion similar to the connection possessed by some Gallus. This granted hedges special magical gifts, such as ability to speak with the smallest ground-dwelling creatures in the woods. They get to speak to animals. Power causes flowers to bloom. Quite common for hedges to have a variety of animal friends who share their home. They dwell outside birdfolk cities, preferring to live in individual burrows under the great roots of trees. Communities of hedges enjoy living surrounded by nature, near clearings with forests or lone copses. Central meeting areas and communal gardens can be constructed in the spaces between burrows. Hedges love gardening and tend to keep a few small gardens wherever they live. Adorable. Hedges need special consideration with wearing clothes. They favor loose tunics, baggy trousers, flowing robes, and other clothes which fit easily over their quills. When not actively flared out, these tough quills naturally flatten, becoming smooth to the touch. However, if suddenly frightened, their quills reflectively flare out and stiffen, an accident which can ruin a hedge's clothing. Adventuring clothes made specifically for hedges are available in nearly every major city in Humblewood, and tailors throughout the wood are familiar with making alterations to suit hedges' needs. They'd absolutely have to, right? Because you're missing out on an entire clientele base if you don't. Charisma +2, wisdom +1. Wow. Okay. They reach adulthood at 20 and live for 120 years. Compassionate, empathetic, and diplomatic. Tend towards good alignments. Favor neutral alignments. Short, rounded body shapes at 3 and 4 feet in height. Between 40 and 70 pounds. You're a small person. You have 25 movement speed. You have a burrow speed of 15 feet. Capable of burrowing through soil, but are unable to dig through anything more substantial with just your cold hands. That makes sense. Backs of hedges are covered with tiny quills, makes them impossible for hedges to wear armor. Quills provide exceptional protection. You have a base armor class of 14 plus dex. Very nice. So they have natural hide armor. Even though you can't wear armor, you can still benefit from the armor class bonus provided by shields once you're proficient. Nice. You can use your action to curl up, exposing attackers to a wall of toughened quills. While curled up, you cannot move, attack, or cast spells, and your base armor class becomes 19. You do not benefit from dexterity, though. You can still use your shield. Okay, so you have like a 21 armor class if you're shielded. Any creature that misses you with a melee attack while you're curled takes 1d4 points of piercing damage. Or, sorry, 2d4 points of piercing damage. Wow. If a creature hits you while curled up, you are knocked prone in the space at the end of the turn. You uncurl yourself at any point during your turn. Deep connection to the magic of the wood. You know the Druid Craft cantrip. Additionally, you can cast Animal Messenger as a second level spell once with this trait and regain the ability to do so after short or long rest. That's really cool. That's actually really cool. Holy crap. I like that. Very nice. Through sounds and gestures, you can communicate simple ideas with creatures of the beast subtype that represents insects, spiders, worms, and other creepy crawlies, regardless of size. Speak, read, write. Birdfolk and hedge. Look at this mouse. Look at this guy. Wow. The Gerbeans. Small mouse-like folk that with long furred tails that help them balance. In proportion to the rest of their bodies, the Gerbeans' legs are long and powerful. Can be found in a variety of places in the woods, usually forming their own communities within birdfolk perches and humblefolk villages. Seldom do they live alone. Gerbean's home can contain several generations, including extended families and cousins living together on one roof. Gerbeans have a strong sense of family and like to surround themselves with good company wherever they rest. Yeah, he's a cute boy. Outsized courage. Gerbeans are the smallest inhabitants of the Humblewood, dwarfed by nearly every creature they encounter. While they are quick and nimble and possess affable attitude, they are not very strong, brave, or powerful on their own. They stand with a group. Gerbeans are emboldened. The presence of others reassures them, granting them the courage to face even the largest threats head on. They excel in team strategies, helping one another solve problems that cannot be surmounted alone. 1 second. I had to cough. Okay. Communal slang of Gerbeans stems from more than just their love of good company. Gerbeans are kind and considerate creatures known for their joviality and charm. Being small and not particularly strong gives them perspective that allows them to easily empathize with others, but not all Gerbeans share this compassionate outlook. Some respond to the dangers of their outside community by becoming insular, fearing all non-Gerbeans. Gerbeans value privacy. True isolation from friends, family, or loved ones is considered to be the worst. But true isolation from friends, families, or loved ones considered to be the worst possible fate a Gerbine could suffer. You would totally make a Ratatouille character? Oh, God. Dex +2. Charisma +1. Grow quickly, mature by 5 years, and live only 40 years. Small and facing many threats in the world, Gerbeans are sensitive to feelings of others and tend towards good alignments, lead more towards lawful due to the cooperative nature. They're incredibly small. They're little. 2 and 3 feet tall, weighing 20 and 40 pounds. Your size is small, but you have a base walking speed of 30 still because you're fast. Long jump is 30 feet. High jump is 15 feet without running start. Can move through the space of any creature that is a size of larger than yours. Wait, you can move through the space of any creature that is of a size larger than yours. Nice. You have advantage on strength saving throws and... Wait. You have advantage on strength saving throws and saving throws against being frightened as long as you are within 5 feet of an ally who's not frightened or incapacitated. Interesting. You can use help as a bonus action? Oh, that's insane. That's nuts. That might be broken. In a combat situation, that's huge. Speak, read, write, Birdfolk, and German. Mapak. Got ourselves little Mapaks. Naturally curious, Mapaks are a medium-sized raccoon-like race. Crafty, hardy, and tough, but their true strength lies in the potential they see when looking at the world around them. Mapaks have incredibly light hands and a great degree of fine motor control that doesn't diminish with age. They're also adept at climbing and sneaking. This, combined with their love of trinkets, earn them an undeserved reputation as thieves. While they are exceptions, most Mapaks are quite good-natured, if a little eccentric. I would want to make a little red raccoon character. That'd be very cool. I'd be very, very happy. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. There we go. I need to crack my neck a little bit. Mapaks are adept at surviving tough woodland conditions and at intuiting the right course of action when faced with a problem. Also, inveterate opportunists. Some may consider them brash, but Mapaks know what opportunities rarely present themselves or are quick to act on them. Mapaks are alert and have keen awareness of their surroundings. Only the truly foolhardy among them are taken in by obvious traps. You could make Sly Cooper for real. Exactly. You could absolutely make Sly Cooper and just give him like a staff. Totally could do it. One of the traits Mapaks are well known for is their ability to find a use for almost anything. A knack for creating functionally useful items of debris, junk, or on-hand materials is known as scroungecraft. Cultural staple among Mapaks. Ability is considered an art form among Mapaks on par with the high art of other peoples. Scroungecraft demonstrates creativity, ingenuity, and resourcefulness, but is misunderstood by outsiders who see it as primitive or crude. Genius ideas created by Mapak hands frequently begin as scroungecraft prototypes. Many who have built such interesting or unique creations achieve celebrity status among Mapaks, going on to showcase their skills in loosely organized scroungecraft fairs. Oh my god. Hubs of invention. Mapaks are often loners, but when they do establish communities with Humblefolk or Birdfolk, they have a habit of fostering innovation wherever they go. Mapak ingenuity was responsible for the contraption on which the Alderheart pulley system was based. The pulley system was so successful that the Birdfolk perches beyond Alderheart have adopted the technology. Nice. Wisdom 2, Con 1. Interesting that it's not Dex. Mapaks mature quickly, reaching adulthood at 8 years. They have an average lifespan of 60. They don't favor good or evil, most choosing to remain neutral, also lean towards freedom and chaotic alignments. Between 4 and 5 feet tall, a variety of builds from svelte to wide, weighing 90 to 160 pounds. Size medium. Speed 30, dark vision. Expert climbers, climbing speed of 20 feet. That's awesome. You have resilience, okay, against poison. Scroungecraft. Wow, there's a lot. This is big. Scroungecraft is apparently a lot of. Look at this guy scrounging. Look at him. Look at this little raccoon scrounging, making stuff. Proficient with tinker tools. Additionally, you have the ability to construct crude but functional versions of common items using materials present. Spend 10 minutes to craft these materials to any tool or piece of adventuring gear worth 30 gold or less. Whoa. Items completely functional, even capable for passing for a disguise if you crafted an article of clothing. Tools, along with any other items that would logically break on its first use, caltrops and arrows, will become useless afterwards. Scroungecraft items will otherwise last 1 hour before falling apart. Oh my god. You want to make a super chunky raccoon? Yeah. Oh man. I can just imagine a super chunky raccoon, like an innkeeper. He's got his inn, but like everything's been scroungecraft around him. So like he has to like fix all of the tables and chair legs like every hour or so. There's something falling apart that he has to go like hammer back in place. He's so funny. Depending on materials available, Game Master may rule that you cannot craft an item in this way. A vial of acid may be easy to make if you happen to be near a nest of acetic beetle larvae, or bark can be bound in a makeshift flask, but it'd be difficult to create passable facsimile of silken ropes with a pile of leaves. Hello! Tom like a fox subscribed to this here. What? It's 14 months. Thank you so much, Tom. Holy crap, dude. 14 months. I had no idea. Thank you. Wow. Wow, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Should you have access to the proper materials, you can spend 8 hours converting an item you have scrounge craft in this way to a permanent version, as long as you start this process before the item falls apart. That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah. You're a founder. I had no idea. Dude, that's how long we've known each other, Tom. Isn't that insane? That's nuts. That's insane. Cool. Thanks, man. 14 months. Thank you so much, dude. Item scratch in such a way will function exactly as a normal version of the item if you have proficiency in the tools to craft the item, or they can look professionally crafted. Otherwise, they retain a rather rough, cobbled together appearance. Scrounge craft to repair broken equipment. Though however long repairs hold is up to the GM. Skulker, you have advantage on stealth checks in dim and darkness. Speak, read, write, Birdfolk, Mopok. Open. Look at this dapper lad. Look at this guy. Huh? Look at this guy. I'd play a fox. Absolutely. I'd be a fox. Abso-freaking-lutely. Look how dapper this lad is. Holy crap. I was there the day you made affiliate on the 24-hour stream. Did I make I think I got it a little bit after that, but yes, thank you. You're right. That did happen during that. That's insane, man. Insane. Is it furry time in here? It's more Redwall than furry time, bud. Is that a love letter? Yeah. My dearest, though your dangerous and reckless lifestyle worries me so, I know that you will outwit any opponent who comes your way. Love letter excerpt from Tybalt Hillshaw to his bandit lover. It's a love letter. Look at this dapper boy. Yeah, so those of you guys that are just coming in here, we are going through Humblewood, a D&D 5e campaign setting where essentially you have a bunch of animal characters that you can play out. It also has a nice little adventure in it, which is very, very nicely put together. I was reading through it yesterday. The adventure portion we will likely not go through until next week, but we will be going through all of the different types of races that are in this. There are 10 new races as well as some new classes. We are making our way through the Humblefolk now, which are your kind of your ground creatures, your mammals. And we did go through the Birdfolk already. Yeah, be good. Aside from Lola Bunny and Space Jam, it's got to be Redwall. Where do you think furry started? Oh my God, true. Lola Bunny though. God, this better not awaken anything. It did awaken something in me, but that's fine. Vulpins are fox-like in appearance. Let's continue. With light builds and sharp fangs, one of the least understood and most often vilified Humblefolk in the wood. Vulpins have earned a bad reputation that isn't entirely deserved. Much of this stems from the fact that Vulpins are ambitious. Sometimes their drive can succeed can make it difficult for them to empathize with others. Vulpins feel just as deeply as other folk of the wood, but they possess a keen survival instinct which sometimes causes them to take courses of action that are selfish. Moreover, they are sharp, savvy, possessing of an uncanny force of personality that allows them to easily sway the trust of others. In the right situations, Vulpins can be true friends, and in the wrong ones, deadly enemies. Yeah. Vulpins are naturally intelligent, rivaled by Corvums. Oh, rivaled only by Corvums. Corvums are the ravens from before, so they're part of the bird creatures. However, where Corvins are studious, Vulpins are more creative. They enjoy the arts, pursuit of leisure. Some devote their lives to mastering an art form, learning sculpture, poetry, refined swordplay. Even though Vulpins come from every walk of life, they also have a reputation for being snobbish and looking down on others. All Vulpins have a natural connection to the magic of the wood, though they channel it in specialized ways. The right look from a Vulpin can bewitch or terrify. Vulpins who are truly skilled can command an entire room through sheer force of presence. Hell yeah, dude. I love them. Oh, yeah, I'd be one. Is this a D&D setting official from Wizard of the Coast? No, this is a Kickstarted one that was worked on by, and I think the name you know Holly Conrad as the one of the driving factors behind this one. But no, this is a Kickstarter campaign that did ridiculously well. And I was one of the backers for it, so we have a lot of the PDF stuff. I got the book, and we're actually going to be doing a show for this. We're currently in the scheduling portion. We've got a cast, but I will announce the full cast when we have the schedule nailed down. We'll be running it through December, and we'll be doing the adventure located in this book. So it should be a good time. Before the Humblefolk Treaty was signed, Vulpins controlled a large part of the wood. Large part of the wood outside the influence of the Birdfolk. And bands of Vulpin raiders provided their own kin with a wealth of plundered goods at the expense of Birdfolk and Humblefolk alike. Those days are long since gone, but the memory of the sinister Vulpin has yet to fade from the minds of the Humblefolk, who endured great suffering at their hands. A few Vulpins have attempted to change public opinion, but a majority are unconcerned with the notoriety. Vulpins learn from a young age that they are of two natures, sophisticated and savage. While sophistication and elegance are generally preferred, it is considered common sense that Vulpins should know when to keep their fangs hidden and when to bare them. I expect the title brainstorming text momentarily. Yeah, maybe. Vulpin traits. Your intelligence score increases by 2 and charisma score increases by 1. It'll likely happen. So for those of you guys that don't know, I'm pretty sure every show that we've done and one shot that we've done, I think 95% of them, ours has helped me brainstorm the name for. It's just what we do. And he has a running tab that I probably need to pay him back for at some point in time. But hey, we'll decide on this one when we get to it. But it'll be during this week, more likely, when I'm at work and bored because no one's there. Okay. You get intelligence plus 2. Wow, you're smart. And charisma plus 1. Nice. Mature at average pace, adult by 15, live well past 90. Not innately evil, but their difficulty empathizing with others means they're rarely good aligned. No. Vulpins find strict authority distasteful, preferring chaotic over lawful. Vulpins cut a dashing figure and usually lean and muscular. Stand between 4 and 5 feet tall. 4.5 and 5.5 feet tall. Relatively lightweight, 90 to 140 pounds. Medium. They have 30 feet movement and dark vision. You can bite. You have sharp fangs that enable you to make natural bite attacks. You choose to bite as an unarmed strike that deals 1d6 points of piercing damage, which can be calculated either using your strength or dexterity modifier for both attack roll and damage bonus. Yes, he was my first DM. He was in the first show on this channel. Which was what, Nightingales, which we ran about two sessions for and then didn't do ever again. Yeah, I've known ours since I was 11. Yeah, long time. 17 years. Holy crap, 17 years. Tough. Yeah. So, you're evasive. Add your intelligence modifier bonus to dexterity saving throws. That's neat. Okay, I like that. You can cast Charm Person as a first level spell with this trait. Regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. When you reach 3rd level, cast Ambush Prey as a 2nd level spell. You regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. When you reach 5th level, you cast Fear. And regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. Intelligence or spellcasting modifier. That's really cool. That's a lot of natural spells. Huh. Hey, dudes, what's up, man? One last look at this lad. Dapper dude. Characters in the woods. So we went, this was the last of all of the creatures, and I'll scroll up here so you guys can see essentially the lists of each of them. So we had, when we go all the way up, the Humblefolk. You have your Vulpin, your Mapok, Gerbine, Hedge, and Servan. In your Birdfolk, the Luma, the Corvum, the Raptor, the Gallus, and the Strig. Now, again, we've been talking about this. It's easy enough to like put stuff in here that makes sense. The Tieflings of the Humblewood? I guess so, yeah. I guess so. The art in this book is also fantastic. Holy crap. You can play a rooster. So neat. So we're going to scroll down. Sorry if this is hurting your eyes scrolling this quickly. Characters in the wood. Chapter outlines how you can customize your characters from physical characteristics, backgrounds, class options, feats, and spells, all keeping the flavor of Humblewood. Here are a few tools. Sex and gender of character doesn't confer any special bonuses or penalties. Playable races do not exhibit physical characteristics based on sex, and traits such as plumage, marking, and size difference are not associated with specific sex or gender. Most significant variations in physical appearance come down to the character's subrace. Nice. Okay, so basically they give you a height and weight that you can roll for if you'd like to between each of these different things. Makes sense. It's a normal height weight roll table. Perfect. The sizes listed in the racial descriptions represent suggested averages for various races. Players can adjust the sizes depending on the kind of birdfolk or humblefolk they'd like to play. Some varieties of Strigg, a race that takes their physical appearance from owls, can be smaller sized, around 3 feet tall if desired. Like our little tiny boy up front. This guy. This little guy. Riffin. That guy there. Okay. Similarly, raptors, a race whose physical characteristics resemble birds of prey, could reach 5 feet in height. Like, let's say if you want to actually play an eagle. For sake of simplicity, we advise, regardless of physical measurements of a character, they follow the size category and the rules of race. In the lore, this can be expressed by saying that even a small Strigg is solid and strong, or even a taller raptor is light and agile. Let's make calculating things that rely on size categories much easier. Yeah, it makes sense. It's basically just preference. Just keep the race stuff. If the races presented here are too big when placed in comparison to humans and other campaign settings, size categories can be adjusted accordingly. It's entirely a matter of taste. Recommended to do whatever makes sense for the kinds of worlds you'd like to build. Great. The wood covers a vast area of different environments. As such, Birdfolk and Humblefolk can showcase a variety of different forms. At the discretion of the GM, your Humblewood characters may look different than other members of its race. While not exhaustive, we're providing examples of suitable analogs for different kinds of animals which a playable race could take inspiration. This is exactly what we were talking about. All right, Servant. Servant characters can be imagined as elk, moose, antelopes. Hoofed creatures with horns fit the bill, especially those native to the forest or mountainous environments. While not every servant has horns, the ability to grow them is such a blessing of Kareth and is seen as part of the culture. Corvum. Birds known for dark coloration. Crows, blackbirds, grackles. Despite typically being dark-feathered, varieties of color for corvids exist. Jays, nutcrackers, jackdaws. No matter which type of bird is being used for visual inspiration of the corvum, it's important they have at least one black feather. Black feathers on corvum are known as the mark of Gesmi, thought to impart some of the Gesmi's reckless curiosity. Interesting. Look, Raptor. It's an eagle. Vulpin. It's I guess that's a fennec fox. A Strigg. It's the tiny owl. And the hedge. It's a porcupine. Look at him. Look at him. Gallus are usually represented by land fowl of all kinds. Waterfowl, ducks, geese. Other fowls such as peacocks, while not closely related to fowl, herons, storks, bitterns can be used for taller marsh-landing dwelling communities. Gallus characters with ostentatious colorful plumage are generally better suited to bright Gallus subrace, while those with modest earth-tone feathers may be suited to the Hudden Gallus subrace. While inspired by hedgehogs, having a hedge character based on a quilled animal inhabits a forest, such as a porcupine, makes sense. Although they would probably not be native to Humblewood, armadillos, pangolins, or echidnas would also work. You just don't have the spinies for this, but you get the extra armor, right? Honk, honk, honk. Yeah, you could be a goose. Oh, God. Gerbeans are inspired by gerbos, a type of jumping mouse. Other small rodents with mouse-like proportions, including chinchillas, could be used for visual inspiration. The greater the stretch, the gerbean's speed, size, and communal way of life may make them ideal analog for races based on rabbits and hares. Makes sense, too. Lumas are inspired by doves and pigeons, but their size and certain charisma and high charisma means small songbirds such as chickadees, wrens, and sparrows and cardinals also are a good fit. A bird of paradise could be used as well due to their focus on performance, though they might be better suited for visitors to the Humblewood of more tropical regions. Birds with brighter or more decorative plumage would correspond to Sarah Loomis, whereas more muted feathers would be better sable. Fear the honk, yeah. Inspired by raccoons, the Mopok characters can reference members of the weasel family. Ferrets, badgers, we did talk about that, possess a climbing speed. Many members of this family, including polecats, would be good fit too. Nice. So you could do like otters and stuff as well. Raptors take after smaller birds of prey like falcons and hawks, but using larger species like eagles or vultures could also work. Marn raptors would also take visual inspirations from seabirds, notably petrels or shearwaters due to the swim speed. Neat. Goose, chaotic evil rogue. Yup. Oh my God, otters. Yeah, we Redwall now. We are. The difference between this and Redwall is that Redwall didn't really have a focus on any bird characters. I think birds were mostly ignored. In this, the bird characters absolutely take like a pinnacle portion here, right? Striggs are usually resemble owls of all kinds. Owls comprise a very large and diverse family of birds. Examples can be found which are large, small, large, or unique in appearance. For larger, more intimidating Striggs, the great gray owl or giant Scops owl can provide a robust presence, while smaller Striggs can take inspiration from a little owl or boreal owl. Regardless of size, stout Striggs tend to be bulkier, denser feathers, while swift Striggs have more slender and streamlined bodies. I'm having trouble saying strig for some reason. The only birds I can remember in Redwall are the belligerent sparrows. Yeah, dude, I don't remember any birds. But again, I read those in like elementary school, middle school. So I don't remember a whole lot about Redwall. Vulpins generally look like foxes, but an alternative visual reference would be wolves. We were talking about wolves, coyotes, or other hunting canines, commonly found in the forest environment. Vulpins can be represented as wild animals to illustrate the duality of their sophisticated yet savage nature. Breeds of tamed dogs would not be a good fit. Language of the wood. The standard languages listed are part of the common life in Humblewood are spoken widely. Sylvan, along with various dialects of Primordial, are uncommon languages, known only by a few, can prove exceptionally useful in communication with various Fae and elemental Humblewood residents. Birdfolk races possesses a unique and mystical connection to the element of air. It allows them to understand Aran from birth, though they are unable to speak it naturally. Birdfolk who wish to become fluent in this dialect must take on time to learn. Aran is a dialect of Primordial. Birdfolk innately understand Aquan, Ignan, and Terran as well, though not perfectly. Compared to Aran, the other dialects of Primordial sound too stilted or broken to Birdfolk. While they can understand simple concepts presented by these dialects, more complicated matters are lost in translation. Reading is absolutely hard. My mouth, I've been reading for an hour and a half straight, so that's kind of tough, right? Birdfolk takes place of common in Humblewood. Yeah. Language of trade and custom. Folk of the wood take time to learn it. Other 5e races who choose to visit Humblewood will want to know Birdfolk. Makes sense. Language of clicks, caws, and whistles. Though primarily oral, a system for writing Birdfolk and pictograms was developed long before founding of Alderheart and has since transformed to a set of abstract glyphs representing different sounds, which they actually provide you in the set here. Where is it? Humble Scratch. There's also an info that gives you a thing. Get water? I know, I'm out. I already finished this whole thing. We'll get to yeah, there's Humble Scratch right there. There it is. And there's your all your stuff. Your translation, I guess. Take a break. We'll do it here. Servant is a complex language with no written script. It seems disrespectful to try and transcribe it using Birdfolk. And much of Servant history is preserved by village elders, passed down orally. The adage, what is essential to learn lies in the teaching, is often invoked to illustrate this point. Edge is a language meant to be spoken softly. It confounds many who try to learn it due to a prevalence of passive voice and the differential manners built into conversation. These are meant to ensure that everyone's feelings are heard and respected. Written using a variation of Sylvan. Turbine is a system of squeaks and clicks represented in the writing by using a variant of Birdfolk. Polite but direct language designed to communicate information quickly and effectively between multiple listeners. Run away with us for the summer. Let's go upstate. We can all go stay at my father's. Excuse me? What is happening? What? What are you talking about, bud? Mapak is a technically dense language that often incorporates rough equations and estimations of physical properties in normal conversation. Awareness of one's surroundings is key to survival. Mapak language emphasizes this. Mapak uses its own script of glyphs made of various lines, dashes, and dots. Vulpin is a language of growls, snarls, and yips. It's written in its own flowing cursive script. Speakers are taught to switch between low and high class variations of Vulpin depending on the context. The biggest stumbling block for new speakers is learning which form to use. To quote an old clip, brain, meat, mouth, execute. True. Okay, cool. We're going to get into the new class options. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I was reading through it yesterday, and it's really fun. And as you can see on this side here, oh, you can't see the scroll wheel. This is less than a quarter of the book. This is less than a quarter. Oh, that was lyrics? I didn't even realize. So while I'm gone, you guys can listen to the Humblewood Alderheart theme while I go on a quick break to get some water. Be right back. Thanks for being here, guys. I super duper appreciate it. And we'll continue in a minute. You heard correctly, Mr. Weeb. This is where the cute fucking nerds are at. All right, let's did I put it on the screen? Nice. All right, let's get back into it. Cool. So we are continuing our dive. I guess I would call it a deep dive into the Humblewood campaign setting, where you can get all your burbs and otherwise, and all of your, I guess, Redwall fantasies can live. We're gonna go through some new class options. Based on this setting, there's like a new religion. There's new religions and stuff like that. They also added some new spells, as well as abilities and things like that to fit with the setting. Makes sense, right? Dibs on being a really colorful bird that uses its beak as a natural weapon. Raptors do that, I think. So the ones that they specify claws, like you can use your talons. I don't think there was any beak specification ones, but I bet you could just say it's like, yep, it's a 1d4, cool, good to go, easy enough. So here we'll find a selection of options you can use to further customize a bard, cleric, or fighter. Cleric has access to new domains, knight, and community based on the Amaranthian of the Humblewood. Bard and Fighter receive new class options which are well suited to characters from the Wood, the Scofflaw, and the College of the Road. Scofflaws might find their talents useful among the Bandit Coalition, and Bards from the College of the Road can be found sharing tales and campfires across all of Humblewood. I like the sound of this already. I always wanted one, like a traveling storyteller was always a bard type I wanted to play. College of the Road sounds like that could probably fit that. You're a parrot? I won't negotiate on this. Third level, when choosing a bard college, the following option is available. College of the Road. Not officially a recognized college, the College of the Road represents a personal and eclectic set of skills, knowledge, and techniques wandering bard picks up along their journey. And as inveterate jacks of all trades, the bards possess a variety of aptitudes in combat, magecraft, and general know-how, making them particularly well-suited to learning a variety of different skills. It often happens that while traveling, a bard winds up sharing their campfire with a motley assortment of wandering adventurers who may impart valuable lessons in exchange for a lively song or a well-told tale. Compared to students of other bard colleges, a special kind of sensibility is important in the College of the Road. How effectively a bard of this college can apply what they have learned depends on their understanding and insight. The College of the Road is sometimes a harsh teacher, but bards who follow this path often find themselves rewarded with a diverse array of useful tricks and tactics. Those who underestimate a bard of the College of the Road soon find these graduates are full of surprises. Hey, features. Bonus proficiencies, Wanderer's Lore, Traveler's Tricks. Favorite trick at 6th level, improved tricks, Traveler's Tricks. So there's a bunch of these. So Traveler's Tricks is the basis here. Let's see what happens. When you join College of the Road at 3rd, you gain a few proficiencies picked up from your time on the road. Choose 3. Proficiency with a gaming set, proficiency with a martial weapon, herbalism kit, thieves' tools, or any skill. You also could learn 2 languages. Wow. Wanderer's Lore. At 3rd level, you can share any useful tidbits of information you have come across in your travels to help others to see problems from a new angle. When a creature has bardic inspiration die granted by you, they may make a single Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion check with advantage. The creature may choose whether or not to add bardic inspiration die to this roll. Huh, that's huge. That's okay, cool. So you use your inspiration actually gives advantages for those things. That's wild. 3rd level, you have several memorable experiences from your life on the road. You learn 2 Traveler's Tricks. See Travel Trick options. Traveler's Tricks represent skills, techniques, and useful pieces of knowledge picked up along the way. Each one requires you to expend a use of bardic inspiration. Takes a bonus action to use. 6th and 14th, you learn additional ones. Improved tricks at 6th and 14th. The Traveler's Tricks become stronger. Practicing tricks you know and encountering stronger adventurers who share their knowledge with you. Mastery over your tricks increase. Favorite trick. At 6, you have gained enough mastery over one of your Traveler's Tricks that you can use it whenever. Choose a Traveler's Trick that you know designated as your favorite. If you roll initiative and have no use of bardic inspiration remaining, you regain 1 use. Any bardic inspiration gained in this way can only be used to perform the favorite trick. 14th, you get a second. Nice. Traveler's Tricks options. Lets you choose options for it at certain levels. The options are presented here in alphabetical order. Each one is associated with a different class, and those marked with an asterisk are magical effects. Unlike traditional bardic abilities which rely on skill or panache to be properly executed, the greatest asset for picking up tricks along the road is common sense and openness to learning new ideas. Wisdom affects how powerful your Traveler's Tricks are, as well as how hard they are to counter. If an option requires a saving throw, your Traveler's Trick save DC equals 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom. Acrobatics lessons. Slick Rogue once gave you some pointers on zigging and zagging. When you or an ally makes a dexterity saving throw, you expend 1 use of your bardic inspiration, rolling a bardic inspiration die, and adding the result to the saving throw. An ally must be within 60 feet of you to be able to see and hear you to benefit for this trick. Huh. And then there's better. At 6, the target succeeds the saving throw against the effect would deal half damage on a successful save. The target takes no damage. At 14th, even if the target fails the saving throw, they only take half. Armed combat lessons. A seasoned fighter taught you how to use simple combat, a simple combat stance to wield your weapons more effectively. When you select this option, you choose a fighting style. Archery, +2 bonus to attack rolls with a ranged weapon. Dueling, wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain +2 to damage rolls. Great weapon fighting, 1 or 2 on a damage for a die. You just get great weapon fighting. That's awesome. Or 2 weapon fighting. So you just get one of these. Oops. You just get one of these. That's super cool. When you make a weapon attack, you can expend 1 use of Bardic Inspiration and adding your Bardic Inspiration die to the attacker damage roll. When you do this, you gain the benefits of your chosen fighting style for 10 minutes. At 6th level, you learn how to use the stance to chain your attacks together in deadly combination. Once while your fighting stance is active, you may attack twice instead of once when taking the attack action. 14th level, you would learn to shore up any weaknesses of the stance. You gain +1 to AC. Huh. Find the wound. An experienced paladin once instructed you the basics of combat triage. When you or an ally within 5 feet receives healing of any kind, you may use your reactions to expend Bardic Inspiration and provide extra healing based on the number of Bardic Inspiration die, plus your Wisdom modifier. Must have at least one hand free. Learn to identify a selection of useful herbs when providing additional healing. You may also remove poisoned or paralyzed conditions. Develop a true knack for emergency triage. You may additionally remove a single disease. Boxing lessons. A wise monk was happy to share the basic of the jab and weave. When you take an attack action, you can spend 1 of your Bardic Inspiration to quickly execute 2 unarmed strikes against 1 or more creatures. You may use dexterity instead of strength for your attack and damage rolls. Damage die used for the unarmed strikes is the same as Bardic Inspiration die. 6th level, you have mastered Weave. You do not provoke attacks of opportunity. Huh. 14th level, your practice is paid off, granting you the use of a slightly key-infused attack. When you hit one of these attacks, you may attempt a stunning strike. Interesting. Conjure Woodland Spirit. All right, this one's magic. A patient druid shared the secrets of the forest magic with you. Spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to conjure a forest guardian spirit in an unoccupied space. Guardian spirit is large. Takes the appearance of a spectral predatory cat. Any enemy that moves into or leaves the adjacent space must make a wisdom saving throw, taking magical slashing damage. The guardian spirit will remain for as long as you concentrate for 10 minutes. At 6th level, bond grows even deeper. Creature dealt damage by your guardian spirit has a speed. Any creature dealt damage by the guardian spirit has their speed reduced to 0. So like Sentinel. Any larger, smaller creature who has their speed reduced to 0 is restrained as long as you maintain concentration and your guardian spirit pins them in place. Target can break free by spending an action to make an athletics check against the Traveler's Trick. DC. Dark Bargain. You made a shady bargain with a haggard warlock. When you select this option, choose an Eldritch Invocation from the warlock list of class features. Wow. You can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to gain the benefits of this Dark Invocation for 10 minutes. Doing this requires you to roll your Bardic Inspiration die and take an amount of necrotic damage equal to the roll. Yikes. At 6, you learn how to deepen your pact with the warlock. You may choose to double the necrotic damage and have it last for an hour. 14th level, the pact with the warlock unlocks a frightening new power. When you reach the 14th level, choose a single spell of 7th level or lower from a warlock spell list. Holy crap. You may cast a spell once without expending spell slots. You must cast it at the level of your highest spell slot. In exchange, the spell deals additional necrotic damage additional necrotic damage to you equal to twice the level. Oh, geez. Okay, so that can be dangerous. Evocation lessons. A venerable wizard shared secrets of evocation magic with you. When you select this option, choose a damage-dealing spell you can cast. Expend 1 use of Bardic Inspiration when you cast the spell to change the type of damage, either acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. Add the number you roll on your Bardic Inspiration die plus wisdom to the damage dealt. Kind of cool. 6th level, you can change the spell you selected. You can choose to change the spell you selected. Okay. Hunting lessons. Skilled Ranger taught you how to use your magic to pinpoint your quarry's weak spots. You can expend 1 use of Bardic Inspiration to target 1 creature you see within 90 feet of you as a quarry. For as long as you concentrate, all weapon attacks you make against the target deal additional damage equal to the Bardic Inspiration die. Oh, it's Hunter's Mark. You get Hunter's Mark. At 6th level, you have honed your skills to the point where you can easily track the quarry. Yeah, so now you can actually do, like, so at 6th level, you can track them, which is what Hunter's Mark does. And then you can maintain it at level 14 for 24 hours. So it's a better Hunter's Mark. Because I think Hunter's Mark only lasts like an hour? I'd have to look at that. Reckless Tactics. You learn from a hardened barbarian that sometimes you have to charge into combat with no regard for your own safety. When you make an attack with a melee weapon that is either heavy or two-handed or versatile, you spend 1 of your Bardic Inspiration to give advantage on the attack. And to add the number you roll to Bardic Inspiration die plus Wisdom to the attack damage roll. Attacks made against you this round have an advantage. You get Reckless Attack. You can push your offense even further. You may impose a -5 penalty on the attack roll. If it hits, you add plus 10 to the attack damage, plus your Bardic Inspiration die, plus your Wisdom modifier, plus the damage of the weapon. 14th, experiences taught you to really go all in. If you have not moved, you may voluntarily reduce speed to 0 and resolve this attack against any number of creatures within... What? Oh my god. If you have not moved, you may voluntarily reduce your speed to 0 and attack every creature within 5 feet of you with a separate attack roll. Every creature. Huh. A gentle cleric taught you how to channel your magic to protective veil. You can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration as an action to grant an ally you can see within 60 feet of you a number of temporary hit points equal to your roll on the Bardic Inspiration die. Okay. Temp hit points. Gotcha. Last 10 minutes. Retaliates against people who would harm your allies. Any creature deals damage. What is this class? This is a Bardic College. So it's the Bard College, College of the Road. So basically, you learn a trick while you've been wandering. People teach you stuff. And so at certain levels, you get tricks that you can utilize. And these tricks take spent inspiration die to utilize and get better at certain levels. It's kind of cool. All right, so the next one's Clerics. At first level, when choosing a divine domain, the following options are available. Community and Knight. So there's 2 new domains. Community domain focuses on the ties that bind all people together. Ties are family and friendship, the ties to ancestors, as well as ties between elders and the next generation. Power of the gods of community in this security of home and hearth, and the joy of good company. Many such gods teach the value of tradition and the simple ways of living in harmony with the natural world. Also tend towards rules of law, not as great, kind of great bureaucracy, but as sacred traditions passed from generation to generation. You're off for your drawing practice? Have fun, Masby. Thanks for coming by. Some gods advocate the removal of harsh or disruptive forces to this order, and proper sanctions for the violation of goodwill in the community ought to provide. Clerics of such gods value unity and praise the strength that can be gained when people support each other. So, you get your domain spells, Blessing of the Hearth, Channel Divinity of Magnificent Feast, Channel Divinity Community Watch, Divine Strike, Paragon of the People. Okay, those are your features. Your spells are Bless, Goodberry, Aid, Heroism, Beacon of Hope, Spirit Guardians, Banishment, Faithful Hound, Mass Cure Wounds, Telepathic Bond. So all of these are, I don't think any of these are new. These aren't new. This is new. I think that's new. I think that's new. Okay. Blessing of the Hearth. First level, you gain the ability to conjure a small flagstone hearth with a simple iron cooking pot whenever you rest. Oh, that's kind of cool. Huh. This hearth helps warm you and your companions and can be used to prepare hearty, nutritious meals for the road. If you or any friendly creatures make camp with would regain... Whoa. If you or any friendly creatures you make camp with would regain hit points at the end of a short rest by spending 1 or more hit die, each of those creatures may choose to re-roll 1 of the resting die, taking the higher roll. You gain proficiency with cook's utensils. Nice, so you're the camp cook. That's fun. Magnificent Feast. Second level, you can use your Channel Divinity to conjure a magical feast for the rough road ahead. By spending 10 minutes, you create a number of delicious, well-prepared, yet simple food items equal to your wisdom modifier. Food items will last up to 8 hours, or until the end of a rest, and will never spoil. Eating food created in this way takes an action, providing whomever it eats with a healing equal to 2d4 plus cleric level, and can remove either frightened or poisoned. Community Watch. Use your channel divinity to instill a feeling of vigilant protection in you and your allies. You grant yourself a number of allies up to your wisdom modifier, a boon from your deity. Allies must be able to see you and be within 30 feet of you to receive the boon. Once per round, a creature benefiting from the boon can roll a d6, adding the result to a skill check, saving throw, or attack roll. Nice. So that's a really strong inspiration that affects everyone in 30 feet. It lasts for a number of rounds equal to a wisdom modifier. Oh. Creature can only benefit from this effect if he can see at least one of its allies. Divine Strike. Infuse your weapon with the power to punish wrongdoing. Once each of your turns you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you deal extra damage. Yep. Paragon of the People. Community Watch grants an additional d6, so now it's 2d6 inspiration. And immunity to fear for the duration. Additionally, Magnificent Feast produces twice as many foodstuffs. When consumed, remove a single curse or disease, including attunement to a cursed item. That's a nice little specification there. Night Domain. This is the other cleric domain. Night Domain is, the night is mysterious and conceals many unseen dangers. However, the cover of darkness, it also brings protection from predators and shadows within which one can conceal themselves. The gods of night are varied, encompassing those who would use the cover of darkness to protect others from threats, to those who would use the shadows for wrongdoings. Motives of night gods are often shrouded in mystery. Many teach their followers that it's only by peering through the darkness and looking beyond what is hidden that one can attain truth. Clerics of the night do their best to keep themselves and companions safe while journeying through the darkness. Okay. Oh, wow. It's almost 3 o'clock. Holy crap, chat. Jeez. I thought we were going to get much farther through this. I didn't realize it was going to take me 2 hours to go through the first portion of this. I actually have things to do this afternoon. Okay. You get some domain spells. Eye of Twilight, Ward of Shadows, Channel Divinity, Invocation of Night, Improved Ward, Eye of Twilight Improvement, Eye of Twilight, Veil of Dreams, Sleep, Veil of Dusk. Okay, Eye of Twilight, first level. Divine Blessing grants you the ability to see more clearly in the dark. You can, it gives you dark vision. Dim light is bright light, a non-magical, and magical or non-magical darkness if it was only dim. Okay, so it's magical darkness as well. And then it improves. At 17th level, your eyes are able to see the truth. You gain the ability to call upon the powers of the deity and grant yourself true sight in 120 feet. Wow. Whoa. First level, you create a ward of divine shadows to conceal yourself from an attacking enemy. When attacked by a creature you can see within 30 feet of you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage. The shadows envelop your form. Attacker can't be blinded, is immune to this feature. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier and regain all expended uses when they finish a long rest. 6th level, you use your ward of shadows to whenever a creature you see within 30 feet attacks a creature beside yourself. So an ally, essentially. Nice. Veil of Dreams. Gain mastery over magical sleep. When you cast a sleep spell, add your cleric level to the dice you roll to determine how many hit points the spell can affect. So it's only 8 extra health? You may choose the order in which you may choose the order in which the creatures within the spell's area is affected. First target chosen. Too many hit points. The spell will instead target the next creature you've chosen. If any creatures you put to sleep cannot be woken until the start of your next turn, otherwise the sleep spell acts as normal. Use your action, Creature of the Night. Use your action to activate a supernatural aura of deep night. Lasts for a minute until you dismiss it. Amid heavily obscuring darkness in 30 feet radius, lightly obscuring shadows. The darkness of the shadows overlap other existing sources of light. Only light produced by a 9th level spell or similar powerful effect can negate the darkness. Enemies within the shadows constantly feel the presence of hungry predators watching them. That's spooky. Become frightened as long as they remain in the area. Enemies in the darkness both blinded and frightened. Jeez. Okay. Look at this guy. Look at that raccoon. Wow. Oh my god, there's so many things. New backgrounds. Holy F. Extra spells. Oh boy. Okay. Do the fighter real quick. Third level, when choosing a martial type, you can choose Scofflaw. Scofflaw is who hits hard and fights dirty, balks the ideals of honor and tradition, doing what they need to do to survive. Rules made to be broken, the Scofflaw extends this logic to the fighting style, using every trick at their disposal to gain the upper hand against their foes. Scofflaw cows their enemy into submission or overwhelms them in defense with a single cheap shot. Nice. Eventually trust their notorious reputation to do much of the work for them, gaining the ability to cause foes to quake with a single threat. Scofflaws are a diverse bunch that run the gamut from graceful yet deadly knaves to bruiser thugs. Ties them together is their belief that there's no such thing as a bad win. Bonus proficiency is intimidating, banter, brutal brawler, misdirection. Okay. When you choose this martial archetype, you gain proficiency in one of the following: deception, insight, intimidation, sleight of hand, or stealth. You can learn thieves' cant if you want. At third level, you're adept at integrating insults and barbs into your fighting style. So long as you're in combat, you may choose to use strength or dex to make charisma ability checks. Huh. At third level, you're brutal brawler. At third level, your tavern side scuffles have honed your ability to deal damage with just about anything that's handy. Proficiency with improvised weapons, and treat any improvised weapon you handle as if it were a finesse quality. Additionally, whenever you hit an improvised weapon, you may spend a bonus action to break it over your opponent. Doing this destroys the weapon, but deals maximum number each weapon damage dice could deal. Any additional die added to the attack's damage are not affected. Improvised weapons become more lethal. Misdirection. At 7th level, you're adept at using words and gestures to taunt or fake out your opponent, turning their lack of composure against them. This allows you to goad your foe into swinging in ways that can cause them to strike their allies, or which leave them open to attack. Oof. As a bonus action, you can misdirect an opponent within 5 feet of you. Target must succeed an intelligence saving throw with your DC based on your strength or dex. On failure, they must spend a reaction to attack a creature of your choice. No other creatures are present. They waste their reaction attacking the air where you once were. In order to misdirect a creature in this way, they must be able to see or hear you. You can do that as a bonus action. It's just a bonus action. Holy crap. Can you imagine carrying a bag of sticks for improvised weapons? Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, it came up. It is adorable. The art in this is fantastic. Blindside. At 10th level, you're truly skilled at exploiting the openings that create in combat, hitting off guard opponents with precise blows. You may use this technique against any creature that hasn't taken a turn, or you successfully misdirected. You may also apply this technique to any roll you make with advantage. On hit, exploit the opening in the target's defenses, dealing an extra 5d6. Once you use the ability, you can't use it again until you've taken a short or long rest. Infamy. Your reputation precedes you, making it easy to strike fear into the hearts of anyone foolish enough to oppose you. Part of the attack action, you can utter deadly threats to a single target within 30 feet, causing them to become frightened for a minute. An affected target may repeat the saving throw each of their turns. DC is strength or dex. A creature who has witnessed the herd of tales of your ruthlessness makes the saving throw with disadvantage. Wow. In order for you to use this feature, a creature must be able to see or hear you. 2 for flinching. Wow. What animals can you be? I'd have to scroll up really far to find all that, so I'm going to continue on this. When we get to backgrounds, maybe I'll scroll up, because this is the last thing for a fighter. At 18th level, you've perfected the art of exploiting your opponent's weakness whenever you take the attack action that against someone you've successfully misdirected, or an opponent that is afflicted by a condition. You may take an additional attack. Whoa. Okay, sorry. There's no need to apologize. It's just like we've been doing this for 2 hours, so there's quite a lot here. All right, so this is the summary of it. This is the Humblefolk, the Vulpin, Mapok, Gerbine, Hedge, and Servan. It is stated later, they give you a bunch of examples on different types of Vulpin you can be, not just foxes, different types of Mapok you can be, not just raccoons, different types of Gerbines you can be, not just mice, different types of Hedge you can be, not just hedgehogs, and different types of Servan you can be, not just deer. Additionally, the Birdfolk, Luma, Corvum, Raptor, Gallus, and Strig. So you got your like pigeon and doves, but not just these. You can do something else with it. Corvums, they give you a whole bunch of different types of ravens and blackbird type creatures you could possibly be. Raptors come in all shapes and sizes, and they give you a bunch of references that you can utilize for this. Gallus can be anything from a pheasant, a peacock, to a stork, or what was one of the other ones? A turkey. Strigs are any type of owl. Yep. And they say, just go for it. And there's a whole section on that. Down here. Characters in the wood. So they give you a whole bunch of different types of options that you can go with. Here's some of them here. Here's a raptor. That's an eagle. Here's a vulpin. That's a little fennec fox. Here's a strig. That's a tiny owl. Here's a hedgehog. That's a porcupine. So becoming a goose is possible. Absolutely. That is exactly what that means. They even give goose as an option, I think. 4 of them. It should be Gallus. Other fowls such as peacocks can also be used. Waterfowl such as ducks or geese. There you go. You can be a goose. New backgrounds. The Bandit Defector. You were once part of the Bandit Coalition, moving from place to place, ambushing and robbing passing merchants. You decided the path was no longer worth pursuing, and you left the life behind. Deception and survival skill proficiencies. You get proficiencies in disguise kit, type of gaming set, a knife, a cooking pot, winter blanket. Bandit specialty. You choose a bandit specialty. Everyone knows what their job is and lessens confusion in the heat of a robbery. You can select or roll. Lookout, lifter, thug, runner, hustler, captain. Lookouts watch the roads for signs of perch guard patrols. Lifters are thieves, specialist thieves, usually adept at pickpocketing. Thugs are the muscle of a bandit group. Usually their size and strength intimidate merchants. Be hilarious if a person played a human druid and all the rest were his animal companions. They do say, like, you could utilize any of this in a regular campaign, so, you know. Yeah. Campaign villain, kleptomaniac, goose. Absolutely. Runners are messengers, the scouts of the coalition, serving to smuggle pilfered goods and fences. Additionally, they pass information. Hustlers are inveterate con artists. Through careful planning, executions, or diversions can keep cart drivers occupied for lifters to do their work. Captains are the glue that hold each bandit team together, provide leadership and stamping out dissension where necessary, even with force. Feature, bandit routes. As someone who once assisted countless highway robberies, you're familiar with the roads of the wood and escape paths used by bandits. When you're not in combat, you and your companions can travel between locations that cut through forested areas twice as fast. Ooh. A bunch of suggested characteristics. I'm honestly not going to go through all of these because we've already been doing this for 2 hours, and I have a lot more to get through. So keep that in mind. Despite inherent vertical aspects of birdfolk culture, you've always felt safer and more at peace with your feet firmly planted in the soil. Practical, level-headed, but due to your different perspective on the world, other birdfolk see you as quirky and unsettling. Your unique insight allows you to connect with the humble folk who live in the forest canopy and perch-dwelling birdfolk cannot. Athletics and insight, skill proficiencies, tool proficiencies of artisans' tools of choice. Language, one of your choice. Equipment, a set of artisan's tools, so you get the tools itself, a walking stick, trinket from another culture, traveling clothes, and a belt pouch with 5 gold. Among birdfolk, you're seen as an oddity and an outcast. Some consider your aversion to height as a rejection of birdfolk culture, leading many to find you off-putting. Choose how your community regards you or roll on the table. Considered weak or unskilled, looked at as a traitor. Family wants for me to return to the perch, but I can't. Not welcome back in my home. Viewed as an oddity. Never found as a community on the fort. I have found a new community on the forest floor. Is there a special section for trinkets in this guide? I believe so. A lot of this is the adventure, so. There's new magical items, so that's there. Okay. Feature, find another path. Since you've lived your life close to the ground, you're familiar with the undergrowth in the same way birdfolk are familiar with the canopy. Always recall general layout of terrain while you're traveling along a forest floor. If your path is ever blocked by an obstacle that requires a climb or otherwise gain height, you can always find a way around, so long as the path exists. Additionally, if you're adept at finding shelter in the wood while traveling, and usually locate a suitable safe shelter somewhere in the forest floor. Birdfolk who are grounded have often found ways to cope with the aversion for canopy life. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that they give examples of. Again, not going through this because we have a lot to get through. Wind touch. Legend within the wood of birdfolk blessed by the wind who are destined to soar above any and all obstacles. When a chick is born with special markings or unique feather patterns, when they have survived a dramatic childhood event, some folks call them wind touched. Though a few dismiss the notion of wind touch as superstition, others heap reverence upon those who believe chosen. According to legend, one who is touched by the wind will never feel at ease anywhere but high in the forest canopy with the wind in their feathers. Proficiencies in acrobatics and performance. Get a musical instrument, a wind musical instrument specifically. Languages you speak as well as understand, Arin. Ooh. You get that wind musical instrument, an ornate cloak, a symbol of the wind, a common clothes, and belt pouch of gold, 10 gold. Some birdfolk, the moniker of wind touched is merely a title, a symbol of their devotion to the wind and the natural world. Others have been told since birth that they were blessed, much the way their Amaranthi and Rhea was in the old tales. Decide what your character believes and, how they feel. Supernatural presence. Whether or not you are truly wind touched, there are folk all around Everden that believe that you've been divinely blessed. You make a show of power, skills that can be attributed to the wind or air, such as feats of acrobatic or commanding unseen forces. Those believers will be bolstered by your supernatural presence. They will support you, and depending on how well you have convinced them of your powers, treat you with reverence and possibly worship. Interesting. Oh my god, so many new feats. Oh boy! New memento, por favor, okay? He plays a humble hero or a jerk-ass jock. Yeah, someone who's been, like, worshipped your entire life. Yeah. Aerial expert. Prerequisite is glide. Years of practice or innate talent have made you adept at gliding. You gain the following. No longer need to move 10 feet to perform long and high jumps. Choose whether to jump using your dex or strength. Double the distance you'd normally leap. Dash action while gliding to fly additional distance. Oof, that's nice. You may change direction freely while gliding. You may gain up to 10 feet of altitude once before you finish your descent. Oh, wow. So you can actually sort of fly. Huh, okay. Bandit cunning. Time as a bandit has granted you a sense for danger. Made you skilled at sizing up opponents. Gain the following. When you're asked to make a saving throw, you may spend your reaction to add your intelligence modifier. During combat, you can use your action to make an intelligence investigation check of a creature you've seen fight. As long as you succeed a DC of 10 plus challenge, you can learn one of the useful fact about them. Damage resistance, condition immunity, special ability, one option, special senses. Cool. Heavy glider. You're either born with the great strength or trained hard to allow yourself to glide under circumstances that most would find impossible. You glide while holding a heavy weapon or wearing heavy armor. Wow. That'd be tough. You may choose to land your glide in a space occupied by a hostile creature that is large or smaller. If you do so, you may roll an opposed strength check to knock them away. Fun. Opportunistic thief. You've learned the tricks of the trade of thievery, allowing you to exploit opportunities for pickpocketing both in and out of combat. You gain the following. Increase dex by 1. Creature fails a melee attack rolls against you in combat. You may make a sleight of hand check. You can steal 1 item. Wow. Whenever you successfully use your sleight of hand skill outside of combat to steal an object, you may immediately conceal it flawlessly or put another object you possess in its place. Jeez. Holy moly. Perfect landing. Years of living in great heights have taught you how to fall more gracefully. Increase dex by 1. Reduce damage for falling damage. This is for your non-flight people, right? You do not fall prone after taking falling damage. You do not take damage for the first 30 feet. Yeah, so these are like your non-flightless that are living in high places, and they've gotten used to living in high places and falling. Speech of ancient beasts. Special connection with the natural world. Great beasts regard you as their kin. You possess the ability to speak their languages of the most powerful mystic of their kind. Increase charisma by 1. Beasts of large size or larger have friendly disposition towards you unless you've attacked them. Advantage on charisma checks. You can speak and understand giant eagle, giant elk, giant owl. Wow. Woodwise, you've lived your entire life on the gnarled, wooded areas of the world, adept at finding your way through even the most treacherous terrain. You gain the following benefits. Proficiency in either survival or nature, ignore difficult terrain, and cannot become lost in natural surroundings except by magical means. Fallout live grenade in your pocket shenanigans intensify. Yeah, essentially. Except there's no grenades. But yes. Yes. New spells! Look at all these new spells. Ambush Prey. 2nd level. You channel primal predatory energies to perfectly conceal your presence in order to surprise a target. Become invisible for the spell duration, granting advantage on all dex stealth checks to remain hidden. Invisibility will last for the duration of the spell. However, moving 5 feet or more from your position will end the effect. As long as you remain invisible, the first attack you make has advantage. Oh, deals an additional 1d6 points of damage. I'd probably say it has an advantage as well. When you cast the spell using a spell slot above 2nd level, damage of the spell increases. Oh, damage of the first attack increases. Elevated sight. Cast your eyes skyward, granting you sight from a higher vantage point. Big old eyeball. Project your vision to see through an invisible sensor as it appears at a spot 120 feet above you. You can see through the sensor as if you were flying, granting a full 360-degree view for the location. Sensor moves with you, retaining its height relation to you. Use a bonus action to adjust the sensor's height, but only a maximum of 120 feet above you. While looking through the sensor, you're blind, that you can switch between seeing through the sensor or through your own eyes at any time. Good. How long does it last? A minute. Feathered reach. You transform your arms into powerful wings and your fingers into long, graceful feathers. The effect of the spell lasts 1 minute. You can fly up to double your movement speed. You must land once you finish your movement, although you do not take fall damage. While this spell is active, your feathered arms bear you gently to the ground. You can use your powerful feathered arms to propel yourself upward a distance equal to half your movement speed. You can do this once during your turn, and it may be used in conjunction with a regular jump. When falling, you can use your reaction to stiffen your arms and glide on the wind. You may fly up to your movement speed in any direction, choosing when you land. There's a transmutation. Oh, because a lot of this stuff is stuff that you get when you're just a bird. So this is for like your non-birds, I guess. Globe of Twilight. Concentration to 10 minutes. Shroud an area surrounding you with a sphere of night sky. Twilight conceals your allies, but it clearly illuminates your enemies. The area affected by the spell is lightly obscured by magical shadow, within which small constellations softly twinkle. Aside from these stars, only light produced by a third level spell or higher can properly illuminate any area. Non-magical light does not function inside the sphere, and all other forms of magical radiance can only produce a dim light. When you cast a spell, you may designate any number of creatures you can see to be concealed. Concealed creature has advantage on dex stealth checks. Because the area of the spell is lightly obscured, creatures within the spell's area have disadvantage on perception checks. Gust barrier. Spread your arms wide, allowing yourself to become enveloped in the air around you. Until the end of your next turn, any ranged attacks against you is made with disadvantage. Melee attackers who successfully hit you must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, the attacker is flung away and struck prone. Invoking the Amaranthine. Call upon the power of the Amaranthine to grant yourself insight into the great rhythm that moves all things. When you cast a spell, roll 2d20s. Record what you rolled. For each die, choose either attack roll, skill check, or saving throw. Choose each option multiple times. For the next 24 hours, you may substitute any roll of an ally or enemy you can see with one of the recorded numbers. Target still adds relevant modifiers. To do this, you must spend your reaction to present your holy system symbol and invoke the name of the Amaranthine. Interesting cleric ability. The version of Divination Wizard's Portent? I guess so. I've never read the Divination Wizard Portent though. I've heard about it. Like I kind of know what it is, but I'm not super knowledgeable. Shape plants. Alter the growth of plants. Cool. Okay. Spiny shield. An ethereal barrier of spikes made by magical force interposes itself between you and an attacker. Until your next turn, when you are hit by a melee attack, or until your next turn, when you're hit by a melee attack, the barrier reduces the damage you're dealt by 2d4. Deals the same amount of piercing damage to the attacker. Nice. Thorns. Shield is ineffective against ranged attacks, but provides +2 bonus to AC as half cover. Stellar bodies. You create 2 small stars that orbit you. They twinkle pleasantly, shedding dim light. The stars protect you. If a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee attack, they must make a wisdom saving throw or take 1d8 points of radiant damage for each star. Jesus. You may use your reaction to cause a star to streak towards an enemy, expending it as it explodes, making a ranged spell attack against the enemy, dealing 48 points of radiant damage. Holy crap. And you can blind them. Wow. Veil of Dusk. Incant towards a creature, cloaking them in a shadowy veil of darkness and silence. Target gains a +1 bonus to their armor class and makes stealth checks with advantage. Nice. Okay, this is all the religion of the wood. All of this is the religion. So here's each of the different things. Atlas, Cluran, Yesmi, Henera, Rhea, Kren, Henwin, Hoth, Gospard, Kareth, and then Life and Death, Ardea, and Titan. They give descriptions of each of these different things. Again, I feel a little bit pressed for time, so I'm not going to go deep into each of the different types of religions, but they do. And if/when we do character creations for these, if we do them on stream, likely if we end up having to select a religion or a cleric of some time or of some kind, we will likely go through each of these things to pick one. Now, I'll read these in my off time to be a little bit more familiar with each of these things, but we'll just scroll down through here so you can see the freaking awesome art that they have in here. That's wild. I love that. But yeah, we'll get through it at some point in time. Hey, look, it is a rabbit. Nice. They actually put a rabbit in here. Very cool. And this is the actual Tales of the Amaranthine, and they give a whole bunch of background and stories. This is actual tales, actual stories. Yeah, look at all these tales. Again, feeling a little bit pressed for time, so I'm not going to go through those. So this is the world map. Obviously, it's broken up into two parts because they have pages, right? So this is, yeah, Holy Gods of Fluff. Exactly. There's a lot going on in that religion section. Yeah, there's a lot. They do provide you with the world map. If you did do any of the campaign backing, they do provide the maps here. The world map should be in here. It is a PDF format world map. So as that may, it's a piece of paper, right? So it's not necessarily super conducive to people who use digital stuff. But it is absolutely there for people to use. Traversing the wood. This is just descriptions of each of the different locations. Mostly I'm just going to share the art that they have here, which is really, really cool. It's descriptions of different areas of the world map. And very cool places like this. I think it's yeah. And then descriptions of the Scorched Grove and stuff like that. This is the adventure. We're going to skip this. This is something that we're going to take up next week. Okay. So we're going to skip the adventure in the wood. It's an adventure that takes your players from level 1 to level 5. Has all of the NPCs and their stat plots included, as well as the maps that you would want if you have the PDFs and stuff. All of them are included here. So it's very cool. We're going to skip right down to the bestiary because we're going to kind of scroll through this. There's a lot of cool bestiary stuff. And as a note for that, if you go to the stuff that they do give you, there's a whole lot of reference cards in here. So you can take a look at them. Ash Snake, Aspect of Fire, and they give you all of the different types of stuff on this. Again, if you're in a pen and paper game, these are really nice to have. They also do standees, so there are like little printouts of these in a different file as well. This one right here. So you can get little standees of each of these with their little art as well. So you can utilize all of those. Yeah, the Cobble Fright is hilarious, isn't he? I love him. So this is all of the stuff included in the bestiary. This is the mountain lion. This is the one that one owl was wearing the hide of. Just thought was cool. And this little picture of this lesser demon I thought was hilarious. I like the Dockmaster a lot. That art is really nice. Birdfolk farmer, guard, sailors, militia. The slimes look cool. Yeah, the slime art is very nice as well. Lumas. Servant bandits, Mapok bandits. Servant priest, Corvum mage. Here's your Corvum assassin. That's the full art from before. Right, it's got this nice little background in it too. Here's your Corvum necromancer. That's Oddwall Ebonheart. Really cool looking dude. He's in the adventure as well. Gallus necromancer. Professor Glinda Nightseed. Gallus monk. Gallus druids. Gallus tenders. Here's your Hedge Bard. Again, with more of the background now. Hedge Witch. She's in the Susan of the Swamp. Susan of the Swamp is in the adventure as well. Really fun. Urbine Thief. Here's the Swashbuckler again. The Mopok Bandit. Luma Clerics. Luma Wizards. Mopok Tinker. And a Cinder Tree. This is Oakheart. He's a big old tree that's on fire. He's in the adventure too. Raptor Ranger. I love that picture. Raptor Explorer. Vulpin Priest of Kren. And Riffin, the Ash Knight. This is your front page character right there. Riffin is a Strigg Knight. Yeah, these guys are both in the adventure too. Here's that guy wearing the mountain lion thing. And here's a better picture of him with background and stuff too. Strigg Tracker. Here's Frey Meriden. Frey Meriden and a Vulpin Noble. Vulpin Captain. She in the adventure is a bandit captain. There was a mini of him. Yeah. He's definitely one of your title guys. And then they do have the magic items as well on these cards, and they do have art for all of them. Really freaking cool. Nest Charm, Red Feathered Bow. Here's your spell cards: Ambush Prey, Elevated Sight, and they have art for each of these things. Globe of Twilight, Feathered Reach, Gust Barrier, Invoke Amaranthine. Spiny Shield, Shape Plants, Stellar Bodies, Veil of Dusk, all of this stuff. It's all in there. I thought was very, very, very cool. So this is the bestiary itself has all of the breakdowns, obviously, and we could go through all of them. But again, I think I'm running short on time. But it is essentially the same things that are in the cards, and you guys got to at least see what those inclusions were. And I'm sorry that I'm going to be running short here on what I'm able to provide. So that all being said, hopefully you guys, not gonna lie, the adventure seems pretty sick. We will go through the actual adventure next Sunday. But the setting itself, I think, is awesome, and the art that they've done here is it really. I like how they have it set up. I'll scroll kind of quickly through the adventure because it has some great art in it. And it really like sets a tone for things like there's Ebonheart. There's some of the stuff like it's pictures of the cities that mostly I'm looking for. Susan the Seer. Magic item. Look at this guy. Look at this happy little caterpillar dude. Nice pack shirt. Yeah. PAX was really fun. Look at this little adventuring party, chat. There we go. Like the wood on fire. Where's I know it's up here somewhere. Yep, all of these maps and stuff. Laboratories. This is the whole adventure, and there's all of this stuff. And each of the NPCs even has like their own little picture and stuff. It's really cool. This is not loading very quickly. I apologize for that. There you go. All right, so like this one, the Avium, and it like does a breakdown of this whole thing, but look at the art for this. Look at this. That's so cool. And they give you breakdowns of each of these different things. Who's the cast for this adventure? I've not announced it yet. We just, the only thing I've announced is that we will be doing this in December. So we will get there, but we'll be doing this in December. We're still trying to get a date pat down. I don't want to announce the cast until everyone has decided that they're actually able to do it, right? Where's the Alderheart one? This picture here. It's so cool, man. Like, it's like a whole city up in these giant freaking trees. More maps. But yeah, we'll go through the bulk of the adventure. We'll go through at least the first couple sessions of the adventure, I think. next Sunday, unless I end up having to do a lot more work for this like on my own than I think. But that's kind of the thing. So where's it? There we are. Here it is. Alderheart. The big old main city. It's so cool. It has like some side stuff here. Obviously, it's on a 2-page thing, but I thought that was really neat. And this piece of art here was really cool too. Okay. So that's I'm gonna go ahead and call it there, guys. I'm sorry that this might not have been as detailed as I had originally intended. We did get through all of the races, all of the class options, and all of the spells and feats. So hopefully that's good. We didn't get through all the religion. We did a quick scroll through of the added monsters. It is all available in the book, obviously, and it has all the stat blocks and stuff thereof. We did not go through the adventure, but we will be planning on going through the adventure during DM prep streams for the new show that we'll be doing. Okay. Am I in a hurry? I have things I need to go do, and we've been streaming for 2.5 hours ish. I was hoping to get a little bit of an earlier start, and I wasn't able to. But yeah, I've got stuff I need to go do this afternoon, so I apologize for that. 12 for 10 cents. I kind of like that name. That's cool. Later on, potato chip. Later on, dude. If you guys are interested in this, and if you like what you see and you hear, and you're new here, think about hitting that follow button. I super duper appreciate it, and I'll let you know when I go live to do more of this kind of stuff. This week, Monday and Tuesday will be our normal streams. We'll likely be just playing some more Destiny 2 because I'm absolutely obsessed with that game. Wednesday, we may or may not stream, depending on when my mom is supposed to be coming into town, because it is Thanksgiving this week for all of you American people. We'll be having Thanksgiving this Thursday, so I will be off Thursday, Friday, potential stream late Saturday, and we will absolutely be streaming on Sunday, where we're going to be going through the adventure portion of this. Again, depending on how much I need to do as show prep over this holiday, will depend on how these weekend streams are going to go, and how, if and when we're going to stream on Wednesday. So pay attention to the schedule. I'll update that later this evening once I get back from doing the stuff I need to do, and we'll go over it then. I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of this. This is the song that one of their is composed by Jake Kaufman, who did the Shovel Knight soundtrack. So the stretch goal was an entire theme for the adventure of Humblewood, and this is their preview of the Alderheart theme, which is pretty neat. And it's a pretty good song. So if you're interested in that, that's there. This was fun. I really like it. The book is great. They're delivering it out. If you backed it, the Kickstarter campaign, you should be getting your book relatively soon. They've delivered at least 20% of them already, and that'll be about it for me this afternoon. Thanks for coming here, guys. And Stella, thank you for gifting a sub to Masby89. Tom, thanks for subscribing for 14 months. Holy F, dude, that's wild. 14 months. Thank you guys so much for being here today, and until tomorrow. Later.